Good morning, good morning, good morning, Vietnam. Welcome to the Carnivorous Podcast. We ain't got nobody in the building right now, but I'm in the building ready to kick it with y'all. I'm off today. So I figured since I'm off, why not come kick it with the Carnivorous Podcast on my day off and do a little morning show with y'all. Cuban Crisis, first one in the building with thumbs up. Yeah. I know you're a big Wu-Tang fan. Cuban. Yeah, I was a big Wu-Tang fan back in the mid-90s. I ain't get into all of the other splinter groups from the Wu-Tang Clan and all their little offshoots like Shaheem and them. I couldn't kill an army and all of that. Yeah, that wasn't my cup of tea. But I'll say the core members, their first album will always be a classic. I was in high school, right? Method Man's first album, you know. Who else? Ray and Ghost album. The Purple Tape, you feel me? ODB, that was just nuts. ODB album, Brooklyn Zoo, that was like pure artistry, right? He tested the limits of hip hop with that album. Nah, bro, I'm 45, Cuban. I'm 45, Doug. I was born in 1979. You know what I mean? I'm the last of the 70s babies. You dig? Last of the 70s babies, right? So I really grew up in the 80s and the 90s, right? So yeah. Appreciate that. I feel like I look 45. You dig? I feel like I look 45. But you know. Yeah, see, man, you look around the same age to me, Cuban. You feel me? Yeah, man, you look around the same age to me. You know what I mean? And like you said, you only a year older than me, so we right there. I don't know, you definitely a little bit more serious. You got that that stone face. You even made a joke the other day and we ain't even catch it because you so somber with it. You was like, I'm joking. Nah, man, I ain't dying my bed, man. I love my grays. Yeah, I love my grays. I can't wait for the full salt and pepper look to come in. You dig? Yeah, I'm happy to be, pushing 50 now. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be pushing 50. I want to get in the gym though and bulk up a little bit, you feel me? Toward in my mid 40s. I want to bulk up a little bit, you feel me? Keep it tight. I just joined a stretch gym. Well, I call it a gym. It's more like a doctor's office. where I pay a monthly fee and I go in and I work on my flexibility and my stretching. You know, they strap you to the damn bed and they to the little thing, man, and they stretch you all out, man. Like, yeah, get my flexibility back, right? Then I'm gonna hit the gym and I'm gonna cut this shit up on y'all. You feel me? I'm gonna be on some Rob Bowen shit. I swear to God. Yeah. I want to look super good going into my 50s. You know what I mean? We living longer now, man. So, preserving your youth, right? Staying healthy. You know, that's the goal because we're living longer now. So if we're living longer now, you want to be healthy longer. You don't want to spend 30 years of your life, or the last 30 years of your life, sick and not mobile. You know what I mean? You want to be fit, mobile, because we're living longer, right? So if we're living longer, we want to keep that youthful feeling and look longer. We can extend, right? We can extend our primes a little longer, right? I was racing my students the other day, and these kids, they in their 20s, right? Early 20s, and I smoked them. They was like, damn, Mr. Shea, you fast as shit. That shit hurt, because I ain't took off running in a minute, but y'all already know I cycle, you dig what I'm saying? I run on my treadmill, I jog, but I don't break out full running no more. So, students, we outside on break, right? They want to talk shit, right? So they was like, man, you can't, beat me and run it all this boom, boom. Man, we took off, man, I smoked their asses. They was so fucking embarrassed. And the thing that I told them, right? And then one challenged me to a push-up contest. Thought I couldn't, rock out with him. You know what I mean? It was crazy. But I told him, I said, man, I was a real kid. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I was outside every day. You motherfuckers grew up in a house playing video games. And then you niggas smoke weed and all that. There's no way a 45-year-old should be smoking y'all in a foot race like that. Couldn't no foot, man, when I was in my 20s, couldn't no fucking 45-year-old. What? I was an outside kid. Man, as soon as I came outside, we was running, wrestling, boxing, everything. We were physical outside, riding bike. We were physical. Physical. I had to tell him, man, I was an outside kid. Y'all motherfuckers ain't built like me. And I'm 45, I smoke. Listen, I still got enough. Listen, my daughter, right? I remember the first time I showed my daughter I could do backflips. She was looking like I was a superhero. I said, Ashe, do you know I used to be your age? I was a little boy. I used to be your age. All of this stuff y'all think y'all can do, I used to do it to the max. Now, I might can't do it like I used to do it, but just to show her that I could do a round off backhand summy, right? She was fucking amazed. These kids ain't grow up like us. Man, we was flipping on concrete. I had to take my daughter to a tumbling gym for her to learn how to flip. I said, girl, we used to do this shit right in the street. Tika, what's up? We used to flip in the street on the concrete every day. We played football in the street. Now, not around my way because we had a lot of fields and, you know what I mean, parks and different things that we could play football in. But I remember my cousin lived over East Baltimore, right? Off of Barclay Street. And I remember going to spend a weekend over my cousin's house, and these fools was playing. Now, we did used to play football in the street, right? But we used to play tag football in the street over West Baltimore. Man, I stayed the night over my cousin's house, a weekend over my cousin's house over East. These fools played tackle in the street. I said, oh, you niggas different. I said, yo, what type of motherfuckers play? Do you know that this fucking street has no give in it? This shit hurt. First time playing tackle in the street. Man, you gonna learn how to play football. You gonna learn how to avoid tackles. When you getting checked up against cars. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But yeah, what's going on, y'all? Let's get into this. Oh, shit. I hit the wrong button. Y'all know I've been playing Mafia. You dig what I'm saying? I've been playing Mafia. What's been going on with y'all, man? This is an early show, man. Ain't nobody else got nothing going on. So look, I'm playing Mafia. Now this is set back in the 30s. Dope, right? Right now, the Dawn, right? I'm a low level family member. Right now, I'm a low level family member. I'm a low-level family member. In the family, right? So right now, you know, the Mafia into all kind of different things. So they are trying to shake down the racing circuit, right? So they got me racing in a goddamn race, right? But it's dope because I'm racing in an old racing car from the 30s, right? So let's get into it. And the cars these cars, right? They're old school cars, so they don't drive like the newer cars on GTA and everything. You know what be dope if the next, not this GTA that's about to come out, but the next GTA after that be set back in the day, like in the 60s or something. That would be fucking dope. Rockstar, think about that. Hey, everybody remember that I asked for the next GTA game after this one that come out be set back in the past, right? With older model cars and not the technology without the cell phones and the different things. Yeah, I want to see a old school GTA. That'd be dope. Remember they did Vice City back from the 80s? I want them to go even further back. You dig what I'm saying? I want them to do like the 60s or the 50s. That'd be fire. What y'all think? Remember we said it first on the Carnivorous podcast. Stamped that the day is August 22nd, 2024. at 11:07 a.m. Eastern Time. The Carnivorous Podcast, we was the first ones to ask for a GTA setback in the past, right? With older technology and cars and stuff like that. All right? Cool. Bet. All right, so let's get into it. Hey, man, I'm going to put up a link if anybody want to come kick it. Hold on. All right, let's get it. All right, I'm going to lose this race because I just didn't even. But look how the cars drive, bro. This is an old school racing car.
Kellen is leading, or not far behind. Anyone could win. The leading drivers are on the final lap. Not long till it's all over, folks.
I had stopped. I went outside, so I'm far behind. I'm not going to win this race, so I'm going to start it over. And watch me catch a couple of them. Watch how I splash on them. Ah! Yo, this handle on these cars is crazy.
Really has blown this race out wide. They all spell victory. Are these the final podium places, or is it someone else's time to shine?
You're kidding me!
Dang.
Trailing at the end of the pack.
You're kidding me! Jesus!
Some rough racing out there. Hopefully nothing serious.
Ah.
Garcia struggles on the bend. This can go anywhere.
Yo, I cannot go away. God damn.
Planted at the back there. Not pretty, not pretty.
All right, I got to start over, but it's cool.
Shit!
Yeah, this the end of the race. I can beat these motherfuckers. I can beat them. I can beat them. Trust me. I can beat them. Watch this. I can beat these motherfuckers.
Yo,
Hold on. Let me bring you up. I'll put you in guess one. What up, Q?
what's good with you, man?
Chilling. Took off the day, you heard me. So I'm just chilling. You know what I mean? What's going
Yeah, I
on
just
with you?
got it. No, I got
We
got
our
home.
favorite, Martin Lichtenberg.
Olive
Taking time
Road.
out of the International Series to compete with us today. Got some news for the group.
Nah, I work tonight.
Oh, you work at night. Okay.
Yeah, I did like when I did like a 12-hour shift yesterday, and then got in, and then got in my little workout, my squats and shit. And I'm just like up. So I'm about to go to sleep in a little while because I gotta work tonight.
Okay. Shit. Oh, you be doing what? Security?
Yeah, armed security.
Security. Okay, okay. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so what's been going on with your channel? What you been getting into? I've been out the loop. I've been playing video games lately.
God damn my just, okay. I'm just saying, like I look like a giant on the screen. It's crazy. Um, but this game is ill, bro.
I know. Let me
I thought this whole game was like that. Like I thought it was like an overhead shot. Like it was just maps. I didn't know it was actual like the scene you just showed in the car. I didn't know it was like that.
Oh no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a whole like GTA.
Now my channel, oh man, I get, right now I'm at 80,000 subscribers, and the views be pouring in. No, I just be yo, this game is ill. I just been really doing like showing documentaries on different subjects. And I only have like 3 videos where I do commentary. I just commentary on the whole Zulu Nation shit with Ron Savage and all that fucking nonsense.
Did Hassan Campbell and Bam reunite or something? I seen something.
Nah, that was Ron Savage. He went he says that he has closure. He's totally flipped the script on shit. And it's crazy because it's like there's so much things to look at where this story just ain't adding up. He's just making shit up, man.
Yeah, I seen something where it was it was like they had reunited or something. I said, wow, how do you reunite with a motherfucker who molested you?
Well, what happened was they had an event at Cortona Park because a lady, her name was Zulu Queen Pepsi. She had became the president of the World Council for Zulu Nation a few years ago, and she recently died. So they were having a thing for her in Cortona Park, and in the mix of this thing for Pepsi, um, Lance Taylor shows up.
Who's Lance Taylor?
The one they call Africa Bambaataa. That's his government. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
like calling him Africa. Yeah, I'm like he ain't worthy to be called Africa Bambaataa. But so the story is that he got to speak to him in private for a minute, and he didn't go into detail that conversation.
Yeah, so I seen that. I said, man, I don't know what the hell is going on. If they saying he met with his goddamn molester and they reconciled, I'm like, how the hell do you reconcile with your goddamn? Yo, come on, yo, don't do this to me. Yeah, I'm like, how do you reconcile with the motherfucker that you claim fuck molested you? All right, I'm in fifth.
Well,
I'm doing good. I got another lap.
I'm not the only Cuban talking about it. Cuban Links,
Oh
he
yeah.
he's been addressing it,
Okay. Okay.
and we had like a brief
Now that's Cuban
correspondence.
links from the Terror Squad, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We had a little brief interaction. I never spoke to him like that.
All right, so back to Wu-Tang. Who was
The
your
greatest,
favorite?
the greatest rap group
Who
that
was your
ever.
favorite out of Wu-Tang?
RZA.
Oh my God, you crazy.
Yeah, I'm tell you why I like RZA. I like. Now, don't get me wrong. I think
Genius was the best.
the Wu Tang itself. You know what I mean? Like I think everybody brings something to the table. They're really good MCs. RZA I like because between Wu Tang, right? Between that and then the production to his alter ego Bobby Digital, and then he has his solo projects of just RZA along with Bobby Digital, and then you got Grave Diggers, and they had them two albums, and the
I
first
like the
album,
Grave Diggers.
oh yeah, I like his I think he has a unique flow, his voice. I like um a lot of stuff he brings together as far as I like it. I mean,
I hated Bobby Digital.
the first the first I think I'm like the only person like Bobby Digital. The first Bobby Digital I like. The second one, I wouldn't say the entire album, but that first Bobby Digital album I really liked. Especially what was that one that had that dude from Cali, from Black Knights, from the Wu-Tang affiliate, Holocaust.
Holocaust, yeah.
Yeah, that shit was it.
Yeah, see, yeah, you deep Wu-Tang. For me,
Oh,
it was 36 Chambers. It
mhm.
was Meth first album. Um, Ray and Ghost, the Purple Tape, ODB shit. You know what I mean? And then the only thing I ever liked after that was Triumph. Every other thing that they I was done with that shit. You had to
You
be a
didn't like
true Wu Tang fan to be into all of that other shit. You feel me?
you didn't like and again, I'm not saying the entirety of the albums. Um but like the one song they did with Isaac Hayes, and then
No,
there was another song.
I like songs but the whole albums and stuff I never got into
Mhm.
after 36 Chambers, after the
Double CD.
some of the original members solo albums. After that, everything after that, it was just like all of the branching off, the Wu Gambinos and all that. No, no, no.
I feel you. I don't.
But it just wasn't my cup of tea. It could have been good. You dig what
Mm,
I'm saying? But I was off of that whole, because remember, Wu Tang came out, I was like middle school, high school. You dig what I'm saying? By the time I got to like the 10th grade, I pretty much was, yeah, it was like, yeah, I wasn't Wu Tanging no more. It was certain members like Meth, you know what I mean? And now, what I have a bigger appreciation for Meth after the Wu Tang era because of his work with Redman. I started to
mm,
respect Meth as a lyricist way more
yeah.
because he used to get busy with Redman. You feel me? Like Meth, I'm like, oh Meth, yeah, that motherfucker can go. You feel me? So
Yeah.
yeah, Meth, I respected him. Like now, as I'm older, I respect Meth. I feel like he probably was the best out of them now lyrically. Now, as I got older and just seeing how his rapping style and his lyrics and everything aged, right? Even his craft, aged well. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that I look at Meth as probably being the best. But back in the day, I thought Raekwon and Ghost, I really used to love them. Like, but then as I start listening to their, I'm like, they really don't be saying nothing. They be, you know what I mean? Like that shit just be, it's fly, right? The way they put it together is fly, but they don't have no, they just say, and them niggas was just rhyming words. You dig what I'm saying? Like, they was just rhyming words, and it was like, yo, that didn't even make sense, but it was hard, but it didn't make sense. It's fun to rap and repeat the melody, but the motherfuckers ain't saying, you know what I mean? So, but Meth was like, and then the Jizza, he definitely was one of the best rappers out of them. You
This
know what I
is,
mean? Huh?
I mean, I think the best out of, if you talk like solo album out of the numbers, I think Liquid Swords is like the best.
Liquid Swords was dope, but I'm telling you, man, get down, girl. The motherfucking ODB Mike
Mhm.
got the best album out of it, and he wasn't even really rapping. I don't know how the fuck he did that. Like that shit was amazing. Like I don't know what he was able to capture. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But all of that wild shit, it was put together perfectly. Like I can still listen to it. And it's like, yo, this motherfucker, I don't know. I don't know how he was able to do that, yo. That's still an amazing project to me. Um, None of it made sense. Even down to the album cover. You dig what I'm saying? It was just like a complete departure from where New York hip hop and stuff was going at that time. With the fly being fly, having the money, you know what I mean? Flashy shit. This motherfucker album cover was a goddamn food stamp card. You dig what I'm saying? Like he was just hair all over the place, you know. So I mean, I think everything about that was dope. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Everything about that was dope. And
Yeah,
he
very
wasn't
much.
from Staten. Now he was from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They were majority of them were all basically from Brooklyn. And what's interesting is, let's see, ODB is cousins with RZA, and they are related to LL Cool J, and they're also related to Flavor Flav.
What?
It's just like recently, if you saw the thing with Janet Jackson, right? Janet Jackson is related to Samuel L. Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and that lady, man, black lady. She was very popular, like in the late '80s. Tracy Chapman.
Tracy
They're related.
Chapman. Yeah.
Yeah, they're related.
I got a fast car. Yeah, Tracy Chapman. That was my girl. Very different
And
artist.
Ghostface, from what I was watching with him, he I think he suffers from schizophrenia.
His
He
music sound like it.
he doesn't his earlier stuff. I don't believe he even recalls, putting it together. And keep in mind too, they were smoking that shit. So sometimes I think in his lyrics reflected it because he had like a song talking about, what did he say? At the meeting, hopping on pogo sticks, drinking Pepsi or some shit, some crazy shit. Like he was saying crazy shit, but it was just how he put it together. But some of it just didn't make no damn sense. He got off with that, especially the beats.
Mm-hmm. Just being all over the place. Yeah, I felt like some of his music, his rhymes, and everything was bitch. That's crazy. Y'all just did that to me. I was in fifth place. This shit is rigged. Now my car fucked up. shit. This is some bullshit. Yeah, I can see that Ghostface was you said he was a schizo?
Yeah, I just saw some interview recently with him, and I want to say that he talks about that he has schizophrenia.
Shit, that's I think Raekwon, like him and Ghost, they did good together. You know what I mean? Everybody here liked Raekwon and Ghost. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was a good little duo that came out of that.
I got a picture of Raekwon.
Oh, you there?
It was a bunch of us. It was at the Brooklyn Hip Hop Fest. The day Jay-Z was there with J Electronica. I was there. I did security at that shit with Zulu Nation.
What
I
happened to
met
Jay Electronica? He used to be dope. That motherfucker could
wow.
rap.
I mean, that dude was when he dropped them singles, that shit was bananas. But I wasn't too thrilled with that album he released. But it might be one of those albums you kind of like got to go back and listen to, and maybe it'll because like I like Black Star, and when I first heard the first Black Star album, I was kind of like, I don't know, and I had to keep listening, listening, listening. I was like, okay. Um, but Jay Electronica is a very nice person,
He
very
in the
nice
Nation
person.
of Islam or something now, ain't he?
Um,
Or something like
so
that.
from what I know, he still is. That event, he was dressed in their FOI regalia, like the one that has like that military look to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And there was some older brothers that took issue with that because he was performing music on stage with
Whooped
with
their
the with that outfit on. Like there was some people that took issue with it, but like I said, man, he was a nice guy. I mean, and I was what's that? I met the dude from Morocco, the rapper dude.
French
Um,
Montana.
yes, I met French Montana. He's tall, man. French Montana has to
Big
be.
dude.
I'm like 6'2". French Montana had to be about 6'5".
Damn.
Um, and I met that was the first time I met Q-Tip. And matter of fact, that day I had corresponded with Wesley Muhammad, and Wesley Muhammad was there with Philip Muhammad, and we went. They had a trailer, and I interviewed Wesley Muhammad. It was two of my other friends. We interviewed him,
All right, now
but
you
we
look.
never.
Hold on, Q. You see, I'm
Mhm.
in first. Watch they cheating. Watch these bitches cheating. Go ahead.
That front tire is fucked up.
I know.
Yeah, so I never released that interview. Um, because at that time I didn't release it because after the fact when we found out about Lance Taylor and Wesley was bigging him up in the interview. So I just didn't want to release it, to avoid anybody saying anything about him, praising Lance Taylor. We didn't know. So I just never released it. And plus I was fat. So in the video you see me sitting on the couch next to him, you see my gut. I was like, hell no, I definitely ain't releasing that.
They say he a 5%er.
No, he's I mean 5% technically is also nation guy nation this time. That's where
And I
the
had to
term is.
argue with Rob Bourne about that, man. Rob Bourne, you don't keep it real about your 5% of shit, yo. I'ma
The
just
the the,
I'ma
the
tell Rob. I always
question
keep telling him that.
the question of who's the 5% of the poor part of planet Earth. I mean that's from the supreme wisdom
Right.
before it was known as 120. I mean so Nation of Islam acknowledges a 85, 10, and 5%, but I guess it's not vocalized in the way the NGE uses the terminology. but it's clearly in the supreme wisdom. Like there's no getting around that.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah, Rob Bourne, me and him always going back and forth. Because I keep telling him he's a Muslim. I ain't no Muslim. Like, yo, you're a 5%er, yo. Like, I always thought that 5%. Now, you a crazy Muslim. Your Islam is all over the place. And, you know what I mean?
But no, well, no, so this thing about people saying they emphasizing 5%. So like when you look at when the Allah team came about with like Dr. Wesley Muhammad and Wakil Allah and the other people that were down with it, they were the ones saying that they're Muslim gods. But Father Allah, when he starts the nation God's earth for justice, they weren't calling themselves Muslims. They were saying they were God.
Yeah, but still, like, is a offshoot, is a Muslim sect. They don't have to say every. You dig what I'm saying? I don't.
No, I agree. I
Them
think
motherfuckers wear
it's
kufis. They come out of the Nation of Islam. How the fuck do you come out of the Nation of Islam? You know, on your symbolism, you got a law. You talk. Man, you motherfuckers are some weird ass Muslims. You feel me? Now,
I definitely think it's
Orthodox
something.
Muslims wouldn't agree with you, and they wouldn't call it. But if you look that shit up, you know what I mean? It's defined as a sect of Islam. It'd be crazy. You don't have to agree with it. That's like most Christians wouldn't agree that Seventh-day Adventists or Mormons are Christian, but they are classified as a Christian sect. Whether your brand of Christianity, you think what I'm saying? I didn't heard Christians say that Catholics. I didn't heard that Baptist Christians say that Catholics aren't Christian.
Yeah, that's crazy because you wouldn't have any of the Protestant sects, because Baptist is a Protestant sect. You wouldn't have a
Exactly.
Protestant sect if there was no Catholicism.
Exactly. So it'd be crazy how people will, bulldog their definitions of somebody's religion onto the. You dig what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you motherfuckers, like Orthodox Muslims say that Nation of Islam, not Muslim. You feel me? Like, so is the Nation of Islam would completely disagree with that.
You had a one of the there was like the three original sects of Islam was the Mutazilites, the Khawarij, and the Shia. And the Mutazilites were a group of people, and they still exist. The Mutazilites was heavily influenced by Greek philosophers, and they take things more of a we take things more kind of anthropomorphic.
How do you do
And
that
so like
in Islam?
um there's certain things that they it gets into what they call fiqh. It gets into the understanding. So like if you read the Quran, it says Allah has hands or he has feet, or you got the hadith that talks about the shin of Allah. So they applied those ayats to take it that it was anthropomorphic versus an unseen God, versus it was something
Poetry.
allegorical.
It could be, you know what I mean, poetic, you know what I mean, licensing. But yeah, I think Islam puts itself in a pickle with their with the strictness of with tawhid or you know not ascribing physical things to the creator, because human beings are going to use colorful language and expression. You dig what I'm saying? I think that limits human beings from using because you'll see every culture and I keep losing this shit. I can't even. I see
Gotta
every
get your
culture
tire
of
fixed,
people,
man.
huh?
Get that tire fixed.
Yeah, I see every culture use um things that they see in their physical to kind of make analogies and you know to express or talk about the creator. You dig what I'm saying? I think Islam kind of hog ties itself because you know I don't think human beings are capable of talking about an unseen without trying to bring it through, you know, our understanding. And our understanding is tied heavily to what we observe in the physical. So most analogies that we try to make about the unseen, we try to make those analogies through the physical things that we observe, right? That's why you'll have ancient cultures always ascribe divinity to things that we see of power, like rivers, the sun, mountains. You dig what I'm saying? Um, Weapons, right? Things that you know personify power, right? Majesty. So I think Islam kind of hog ties itself, you know, because human beings are going to do that. Do you agree? We're going to ascribe, we're going to make analogies, we're going to draw analogies, right, to things that we find sacred on earth, right? So it'll be hard not to anthropomorphize, you know, God once you start talking about God speaks to man. Well, the only thing that can speak to man, right, when we're talking about speak, is another human being in our psyche. So right there, if you say that Allah speaks to man in any capacity, you're already anthropomorphizing the creator and you're acting like you're not. What do you say about that?
I'm trying to figure out before I answer that. Um, I checked something on my screen, and now when I come back, all I see is Zoom. Like I don't even see you. I don't see me. I don't see anything. I just see Zoom. Support English. Zoom. Uh, if you can, just take me out of here if you're able to do that.
I don't think Zoom work like that. Hold on.
This is weird. I don't even know why it's doing this.
You would have to click out and come back in.
Let's see if I can do this.
I'm gonna put the link back in the chat. So click out and come back in. But I definitely want you to answer that question.
Yeah, it's not. It's not letting me. Let me refresh my page. My page ain't even refreshing. Connection. Fine. Weird. Let me I'm gonna be back. Let me
Click out
oh
and
here
come
we
back
go.
in.
Okay. All right. Let me do something real quick. Let me heat up my cafe con leche for this conversation.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I bet. Boom. Cube coming back. Y'all, you had to click out real quick. Yeah, that you know what I mean? See DQ, what's up? You know those questions, right? Always, you know, you gotta learn how to box a Muslim in. Most of us know how to box Christians in. But you got, you know what I mean? Muslims, they are real tricky with their shit. So you gotta box them in a different type of way. because they try to act like their shit is so supreme. And that their religion don't fall into the same pitfalls or have the same challenges that other religions have. And I think they do if you just word it right. Boom. Yo, I gotta win this race, man. I feel crazy. Let's go. All right, I'm the red joint in the back, y'all. I'm number 13. Boom. All right, take this. Boom. Come around this corner. See, man, bitch. They done already fucked my car up. Damn it. This game's stupid as shit. I brought this game so I could go shoot people with the shotty. Like an old school mobster and get the Tommy gun. They got me racing these old ass cars, man.
Shit! Jesus!
I can't beat these motherfuckers. All right, I'm in 8th now. I got 8 motherfuckers ahead of me. How do I catch them? Bitch! I'm in 7th. They on my ass, y'all. Look at them. They on my ass. Bitch! All right, I got 2 more laps. I'm in 7th. All right, I'm in 7th, y'all. Now watch, I'm gonna take first and then they go on. Dang. All right, I got 2 more laps. Here we go. Gun it, 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 gun it. I really catch these niggas. Oh, you back?
Yeah, I got my coffee.
Okay. Is your screen working right?
Yeah. So they keep they asked me what's my thoughts on that as far as the anthropomorphism versus the unseen God.
Yeah. And how Islam, no matter what, puts itself in the same conundrum that other religions do with certain references to the creator. I think it's impossible for us not to anthropomorphize an unseen being in some type of way. Go.
Oh man, you just have to ask me what I find to be the most controversial subject of the religion. Hmm. What I personally think, is that it is
One more lap, y'all. I'm in 2nd.
I want to word this right now.
All right, go ahead.
I don't want you to crash the car. What I personally
I'm gonna crash this motherfucker. I'm gonna lay this bitch down.
I have on that topic. I have mixed feelings. On the one hand, I can see where it's definitely an unseen deity. On the other hand, I can see where that it is anthropomorphism. And like, for example, there's a hadith. It's an authentic hadith and it says
I'm in
that
first. I'm in first on the third lap, on the final lap. Watch they fuck me over right here. God damn
yeah,
it!
because look what the fuck you just did, bro. You took that crazy turn, you hit walls and shit.
All right, go ahead.
Um, so there's an authentic hadith that talks about when Allah created Adam. And it says that He created Adam after the likeness of Allah.
Mm.
And one of the things when you go to Orthodox Islam, one of the things they're going to tell you is they're going to say that they're going to say uh, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ, and there's nothing comparable nor co-equal unto Allah.
To Allah.
Then they're going to hit you with another
Allahu
verse.
Samad. Walam
Uh,
Yalid, Walam Yalat.
yeah, from Ikhlas, and then they're going to hit you with yes, Afro Ninja, I did.
Got him, niggas. Got him. Go ahead,
I
kid.
weigh 192 pounds, sir. I had skyrocketed to 450. I was a crackhead with Pepsi. Uh, but so this hadith talks about that Adam was created like likeness of Allah. And I believe this is found in Timothy. Um, Timothy is one of the collection of the books of hadiths, and so they'll tell you, when you come to this land, they'll quote that ayat or that surah Ikhlas. They'll quote that um, that
I knew you wouldn't let us down, Tom. You made us all a lot
creation
of
of
money
Allah
back.
is not like
Rumor has it
unto
we've been picking
Allah.
up pennies off the sidewalk for weeks.
And they'll say, well, this is something that you'll find in Christianity, that they'll say that Adam was made after the likeness of God, and
Take your girl
that
out
we're
for
made
2
after
minutes.
the likeness of God.
Thanks, boss.
Um,
You got a girl, right? I don't want your
so you
brother
have that
thinks you're
hadith.
pushing whores.
Um,
Well,
and
well, they always can get out of hadith. So
well, they can get out the way they
they
can
can
get out of
always get out of
hadith.
hadith.
They can get out of even if it's something that's classified as sahih, they can get out of it
Got lucky, so.
because if it doesn't, they can get out of the hadith if it doesn't if the hadith is contradicting the Quran, that's how they get out of it. That would be the argument.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's the infamous argument of the pronouns that right, and that was one of the arguments Elijah Muhammad brought when he messaged the black man.
Yeah, okay.
Is the pronouns he, us, him, we, are. If he's not a man, then why are you referring to this? But in in fairness of the language in that classical Arabic is that um I forget what the Arabic term would be, but in English you'd say royalty. Like it's kind of like if if someone is speaking on behalf of a president or a ruler, and they'll say
You seen
us,
Polly anywhere, Vin?
right? So that's kind of like what they're saying. That's what they're
Yeah,
saying that
the royal we is the royal
yes,
we, the
the
royal we.
royal exact. Um, there's that, I me personally, I believe in a creator. So me personally, I think that there is a connection between the creator and his creation. It's not that we're just some puppets. And there's the creator and everything else is the creation. I believe that everything is connected. Nature, humans, everything. That everything is connected somehow, some shape, form, or fashion. Whether you're in Vermont to you're in Thailand, you're humans. We're humans. We have a connection. We breathe the same air. We have to eat. We have to sleep. We have to. So we have this connection. We talk. We have communication. We love. We hate. We're happy. We're sad. We procreate. We destroy. There's a lot of things that as humans we do that is similar with other humans. But I don't know. That's a very controversial subject
I just
because
showed
then
you
you
where to
get
go.
into
You seen Polly?
a group that's called the Asharis. The Asharis take
You enjoy yourself.
certain verses from the Quran, like his attributes, they will interpret a different way from, let's just say, people who call themselves Salafi. Like in Philly, in Atlantic City, there's a huge Ashari community. Asharis have gained a momentum
Mm.
versus in the Salafi community. They've been having some problems, and the problems is interesting. The problems at times revolve around personality worship, powers at times, and the religion teaches that you're not to blindly follow a scholar. You know, if you are to go with a consensus, but if a scholar says something, the scholar could be wrong, and you can resort to another scholar, the present or the past, that could clarify the mistake that that scholar made. So you're not supposed to blindly follow. You know, but
Yeah, I'm with you.
maybe,
So think about what you just said, right? So I think Islam does a tricky thing here. They almost I think Islam was a response to uh kind of all right. I think Islam was I think Islam was a theological response to the deification of Jesus Christ. You dig? I think for the most part, right? I feel as though it's a Protestant movement almost, right? Where it's in protest to certain things in Judaism and certain tenets of Christianity. You dig? Um, but I think that as much as it tries to protest against what it deems as deviant in Christianity and um in Judaism and
Mhm.
some aspects of Zoroastrianism, I think it by mere fact that why we know that it's human is because if it traps itself in those same things that it protests against. For example,
Okay.
right? This is how I rationalized it, right? To move away from it. All of the things that they say that is wrong with Christianity, they damn near trap themselves in it with they try to act like it's not deification of Muhammad, but you damn near Muhammad damn near becomes a proxy. Either Muhammad or the angel Gabriel, and a combination of the two, you damn near almost got the same thing in in adoration that of the angel Gabriel and Muhammad. If you combine them two, the adoration that is and the praise that's put upon them, you damn near got Jesus all over again. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Far as wise, you know, Muslims follow the the mannerisms of Muhammad, right?
Mhm.
Um, like that's you act like that's not worship, but
Mhm.
how could that not be if it was a man, right? Now you eat like them, you stand like them. You dig what I'm saying? Your posture, you know, all everything that he did.
Everything.
It's so how that's not Christians didn't record
Mhm.
how Jesus walked and talked and how he
Mhm.
laid down, whether he laid on his right side when he went to sleep, how he, what type of not, if that's not worship, I don't know what it, I,
That's the argument that they bring, is that if an individual is to be Christ-like, How can you be Christ-like when you know very little about him?
Right.
So their argument is here we have it laid out. You have um, the Seal Nectar book, which is a biography of Muhammad. You have the Hadiths. Um, and so they believe, as the Quran says, that he is the best example. So
Right.
they want to follow his example, and that's what you want to do. But I think that it's not practical because we're all humans, and what may work for you may not work for the next person. And I think that it's like, for example, like I to this day I still don't eat
Thanks,
pork,
Lucas.
right?
Hmm.
But to lay
I
this
don't
down,
eat
like
pork either.
nobody can eat pork. Pork is haram. It's like I don't know. Like if it's disputed over, for example, the lehya, the beard. You have the authentic hadith that states Muhammad said, "Trim the mustache and leave the beard." So you have some Muslims that believe that if you disobey that commandment because that's fard, that's wajib, it's obligatory, that possibly could be held against you against Yom Kippur, and that disobeyment could possibly not be in your best interest. And I think that these are the type of things that give this conversation of God a bad name because it's putting the creator, in a box. Like, so if you believe that the creator created everything, I would imagine that the creator would have bigger things to be concerned with than a beard, you know, um, and things like I find it to be very trivial because I know Muslims personally that they grow their beard, they grow their pants up, they wear thobes, they wear kufis, all that. But guess what? They sell crack and they woman tricks, and they're in a gang. You know what I mean? Like I've seen this. I know people that's,
What does the bird say?
and it's
I don't
just
know.
like,
The
and
security
then
guy
it's
back there
pointing the
says you
fingers
better
at
go
everybody.
home.
That's an asshole.
You're not even
Show
working
some
on yourself.
respect.
So,
Well, that's true,
um,
but I'm saying you
I
gotta
mean,
go
and
home
and
too
that doesn't
before it
necessarily
resurfaces the
reflect a
pit.
religion. That reflects an individual. But
Okay then.
um, I don't know, man. I think certain things like hellfire, for example, I think is
Let's
absurd
go, Jim.
because if you believe that everything's preordained and you have free will, then if everything was preordained according to hadith, when the semen is going into the woman, Allah sends two angels that write down who you will be, what you will be, when you will die, everything. And even then, before that, believe that we all gave bay'ah in Jannah. We gave allegiance in
You did
heaven
real good
that
today,
we would
Tommy, with
obey Allah
the
as we come
drivers.
to earth.
I was right.
Hmm.
I
So
was
it's
right
like,
when I found you. You know what I
if
said?
if Allah
What'd
is
you
the
say,
one, according to
buddy?
the Quran, Allah makes
I said
Muslims,
this guy can drive. I'm
but
saying
yet we have free will,
this
why
is
would
a
there be a
guy
hell?
who can drive.
If you already
Here
knew
we
what you were
are.
going to do,
Here
why?
we are.
Why? What would be the point?
Right here.
Like that
That's where
seems
we are.
rather sadistic.
You put me to shame, Tom.
So is that one of your issues
Now you're even
with the religion that made you kind of move away from it, but you still
But y'all
have
going.
faith, you
You know
still
what it
have
is since you
belief
joined the
in the
family, but now
creator,
you got it
but
easy,
you
right?
don't have full confidence
Me and Sam, we get
in
the real
religion.
stuff from you.
Yeah, I don't have
Right. You don't know what it's like.
yeah, I
You get the
definitely believe
call
this,
to see the
but as
Don and your
far as
wives race.
um,
Done some bad shit, Tom.
I think there's good things a person
All
can
in this
take
together.
from
I do what the
Islam
Don asks
and
when he asks me,
institutionalize
just
it,
like you.
bring it into
And
their
like
life. I
me, you
think that
can't just shut it down.
there's good
Work
things
it
in
out like
in the
Sam
religion,
does.
Yeah.
but
Go
there's things
home
I
to
just disagree with. Like I
wherever the hell he
can't.
goes home to.
The
Home.
hellfire thing
The
makes
drugs.
sense.
You're gonna have to clam up for your own sakes. Yeah,
There's
you're
a
right.
there's a few things.
You're right.
Quite a few things I don't agree with. Like I don't believe in a Satan. That doesn't make sense.
Tom,
Because
I wanna
like
get with the
um,
lady.
you
I'm
created
not
this
helping you
being
with
that
that
you knew
today.
was going to
Take me to the ladies.
disobey you, and that
Take me to the
was going to tempt man and that can make man stray. And
The bridge.
uh,
Take the bridge over the
meanwhile,
island.
you're merciful
Take
and
me
you're
to the
worried about
base.
what we're doing,
Then
but
you
why
fall
don't you
asleep
just
with
destroy
Denise.
him?
Destroy
Like
him.
if it's a, and then they're gonna say, what's a test? Well, what kind of test is that if you knew the outcome? Like what would you what would we need to prove to the creator in a situation like that if he already knew?
More classy.
So I think that
Now we're
I think
talking.
the hellfire doctrine, I think it is a
You should
doctrine of
see these
fatalism,
dames,
and I
Tom.
think it's used to
Woo-hoo.
control people and
I'll leave it
put
to you
fear
to
in
swim
people,
with the barracudas, Polly.
to control
You're gonna
them,
have
to
to tell me where the hell I'm driving.
make them
You don't know?
submit to a
I
religion. And I
don't
also
know.
think that it ultimately
It's
puts money
there's
in
a
the pocket,
blue sign.
because how you gonna
Nothing
get
more than
the
that.
parking lot fee?
There's a blue
Pay the water bill and
sign
the
and it
light bill.
says Blue Tropics and it's
You
right
know,
near the
it's like
docks.
you need the people.
Home.
You
Put
need the
me a
people to
home.
keep the thing going. You know, like I
Maybe,
just I take
maybe
issue.
not.
Take
No,
Yeah,
issue.
a good idea.
I'm with you, but I think
Yeah.
all religions face
Okay, I'm
that
gonna.
same
Sweet dreams, tough guy.
that same
I'm
issue.
gonna.
You dig what I'm saying? I think what you just
Yeah.
raised was a
I don't
common
feel so good.
issue amongst religious people. You dig what I'm saying? Uh, you know, if God is all knowing, right? I think even 16th century philosopher Spinoza had spoke about the same thing that you is speaking of now. So this always was the issue for
Hmm.
when we talk about fate and determinism. Religion has always dealt with that. Has always had an issue with reconciling that. Um, yeah, so that will always be a problem because I think the saying goes, if God is all knowing, damn, how does it go? Corey, what's up, Corey? Click the link. I know you at work. I'm about to
You
look
talking about
this
the?
up.
Are you not talking? I don't know why, but this Dead Prez lyric popped in my head. Are you talking about Dead Prez? What they said in their song? I don't know why that popped in my head. He said, what he said? He was I thought he was supposed to be the all loving. So why did he let Hitler put the Jews in the oven?
No, I ain't talking about. I'm talking about a philosopher.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the same sentiments along that line. Let's see, Spinoza. If you ever took a Spinoza's philosophy,
Yeah,
it's
I've heard of Spinoza. I've like read little things, but I've never studied Spinoza.
well, he was basically saying that if God is all knowing, how did he say it? If God is all knowing, he was actually questioning the what do you call it, the omnipotence, the omnipresence, and the and if God is love, then why does evil exist?
Mhm.
Right? If he's all know, he has a whole paragraph where he he poses the question, and the question leaves you to the conclusion that more than likely God don't exist. If this is a question, right? If then the God that we are talking about, he cannot exist because it's a complete contradiction. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna look for it real quick.
I think too in the conversation of God and stuff is that and I'm not saying this towards you, but I think sometimes when I hear the conversation, the perspectives are coming from an Abrahamic faith perspective of God. And it's important to know that there's a lot of things in other traditions and stuff like that that um, there would be no agreement on. You know, so it's like it can't just be confounded to this particular perception. So when it comes to Abrahamic faiths, there's a lot of things that I honestly don't agree with. But at the same time, and we've had the conversation on personally, that I do think when it comes to Islam, and it's the same way. Like, I mean, over the past few years, I've gotten to know more atheists. I have a very close friend as an atheist, and I think that atheists, by people who believe in God, can be stereotyped. Not all atheists are assholes. You know, there's people who believe in God, they're just complete douchebags. But I personally think that in my experience, I take no issue with being friends with an atheist because at the end of the day, that's just what the person, you know, believes in. That's what the person accepts. And there's nothing that's on that person, you know, if they want to change their perspective, but it really has no bearing on any of us. This is like if somebody believes in God, it has no bearing on nobody. If they're not proselytizing it, if they're not being forceful with it, if they're not using it to harm you, it's not an issue. You know, it's individuals that abuse things. You know, it's just like look at science, like the conversation of scientific racism. That's not science. But yet there's people believe in God, you know, they may use scientific racism as means to try to debunk the atheist or the evolutionist or whatever. And it's weak because that's just not science. And I see it the same way in the opposites with somebody who believes in a God. You know, it's just like it's just not that deep. It's not anything to go ballistic over. But yeah, there's a lot of things that disagree with the Abrahamic faiths. And there are things I find contradictory. But what I was saying, what I got off, what I was saying was is that there are arguments that I've heard that people will use about Islam, and I'm not going to be biased in the conversation. So I just look at what's right, what's wrong is wrong. You know, so if an argument is brought towards the religion, you know, I separate people from criteria. You know, so it's the same thing with science. I separate the little I know about science, I separate science from individuals.
So yeah, it goes if God is all powerful and all good and all knowing, it is not logically possible for him to allow evil. You dig what I'm saying? So that question has always, you know what I mean, but the way that Spinoza had put it, you know, his line of it was a line of questioning and reasoning that he walked you down in his schism, right? And that right there actually helped me, you know, actually move away from religion and God. You dig what I'm saying? Because it was saying like, if God is all knowing and all good, like it was saying like, then how does evil exist and suffering exist, right? You know, and the line of questioning that he put forth, your brain is gonna come to the conclusion that nah, because we know that suffering and evil do exist, and by mere fact that it does exist, right? Then there could not be an all-knowing, all-loving God to even allow it. And religion twists it. It makes a story up to tell us why this all-knowing, all-loving God would even allow suffering and evil to exist in his creation. You have to make up a story about original sin and the nature of sin and create a demigod that is evil, that is the opposite of God. Oh man, like
Yeah.
what's up, due
And
diligence?
that's why I take issue with Abrahamic faiths.
Okay, you said
You
that.
know,
Yep.
so it's if you look at something else, you know, I don't know, you could take Ifa. Ifa doesn't believe in a devil.
Yeah, so you move towards
It doesn't.
more
Yeah,
African spiritual systems away from
I
Islam. Okay,
yeah,
you told me that.
I
Go ahead.
did it. I did it because gradually, before I took my shahada, I had encounters with people in it, and um, you know, I took the decision to be Muslim most of my life,
Yeah, that's the cold thumb.
and
You want anything else?
it was Ifa really. A lot of things were Ifas, but led me to gain my first hand in Ifa.
Before you go,
Like you know, I'm not no Baba Lao,
small favor.
Hmm.
but I had my first hand in Ifa, and um,
Welcome my
you
daughter,
know,
Sarah.
a lot of it just resonated with me with a lot of things that even as a child,
She's a tough.
you know, I don't just
This
the
is
devil and
backup
hell
boys
and
Anita her
you
place.
know,
Punks, they
original
dig in
sin.
fast.
And even though Islam
They talk
doesn't
to
teach an
grow,
original
make
sin,
advances.
they believe that
Saturn,
when
she
Adam and
gonna speak
Hua
the mind. But maybe she senses
listened to
something they don't like.
Shaitan, like, and
Fix
they
it
don't
up.
believe he was a snake. They believe it was a
But if
whisper.
you working at home,
Not trying to make the
supervise it
story better
she's
or
a
like trying to make it seem,
daughter.
you know, but I'm just saying,
More
just
proud
Okay.
putting
All
that
right.
out there. They don't
Right.
believe that,
Mañana.
and they believe that when they ate, that they would, you know, that
Sarah,
they were never
time to
born
close.
perfect. They were never created perfect. But they were the vicegerents of of the earth, and that man is actually above angel, and man is above jinn.
Right.
But that when they ate, that they made what's called toba, forgiveness, and Allah forgave them. So Islam doesn't believe in original sin. They believe that once you hit puberty, this is where you're held accountable for mistakes and sins. However, it's like a menu at Burger King and Wendy's and McDonald's. Islam, Christianity, Judaism. The menu is similar. Each menu got some specials, something to your liking, and there you have it. It's just kind of retwisted, rebranded, you know, um, names, events, you know, things like this. Like, you know, the Muslims believe they believe in Noah's flood, but they don't believe Noah was a drunkard. Right? That kind of changes the story somewhat. They don't believe that the flood was to give atonement to man, that it was to, as the Old Testament states. You know, they don't believe in that. They believe in Jesus. They believe he was born of a virgin birth. They believe he spoke as a baby. They believe he performed miracles, but they don't believe he is, and they believe he's the Messiah, but they don't believe he's the Son of God. They don't believe he's of the Trinity, and they don't believe he was crucified or resurrected. But yet you still have a Jesus. It's a little different.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you said. It's rebranding old ideas to try to make sense out of it. Like I said, it
Mhm.
was a protest. You dig what I'm saying? So it was trying to clear up a lot of shit. You dig what I'm saying?
I mean,
Um,
I ain't gonna lie. I like the Islamic version better. I like the fact that there's no original sin. That, as a child, that never made sense. Never. I
yeah,
used to always talk to the you know the people of the church.
original sin makes more sense than what you just said, though.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
If you go off the premise of original sin, right? Original sin, first of all, this doctrine, um, the doctrine itself contradicts the Old Testament and the New Testament. So here comes the contradictions. But when people's like, oh, you know, there's no contradictions in the Bible, oh, yes, there are. So you have Deuteronomy 24:16. The father shall not die for the son's sins, and the son shall not die for the father's sins. Every man dies for their own sin. So how did this come into play of this atonement of some man dying for the sins? So then they got to come up with the flood. So the flood didn't work out. So now you tell me the flood didn't work out. So God made a mistake. God messed up. Okay. So then he had to have, we've word this right, he had to manifest himself as God in the flesh of a man who's a man God to come out of a vagina, right? So he comes out of vagina, he sucked on breasts, he took shits, he pissed, he puked, he did everything a baby does, but he could talk. So if he had to suck on some breasts to sustain life, how could he possibly save anybody from sin? If he couldn't save himself, he had to have the assistance of a creation of God that is not divine, unless you're a Catholic and you believe Mary's divine. So then this happens, but then you go to Matthew.
Go ahead, my bad.
Matthew chapter 5, yes, Matthew chapter 5, 17 through 19. Think not that I've come to destroy the laws nor the prophets, I came to fulfill them. And he says, anyone that follows these laws, tit for tat, jot for jot, will be called least in the kingdom of paradise. So then you look at the laws.
Dang, you sound like a
Deuteronomy
guy.
20.
You look, you sound like goddamn Hebrew Israelite quoting the Bible. That was dope.
Deuteronomy 24:16 is one of the laws of Moses. Then you got Ezra. Then you got 1st and 2nd Kings saying the same thing. But yet now we have to accept this man as our Lord and personal Savior. But then this is the same guy that asked God, why hast thou forsaken me? So who was he talking to? Then this is the same dude that got lifted up by Satan, taken to a mountaintop and tempted and said, you can have the whole world if you bow before me. So now God can be tempted by his creation. But then the argument is going to be, well, he was in the flesh, he was weak. So if he was weak and he was in the flesh, then you say that he wasn't married. Then you say he didn't commit sexual acts. Then you say, oh no, he never cursed nobody out. He didn't do none of that, but he bowed to the nemesis. But yet he's going to save me from sin. It doesn't make sense. So then you look at this thing, how could you be possibly held accountable for what that person did? And they say 6,000 some odd years ago. How? So if my father was an axe murderer and my mother was a heroin prostitute, does that make me a heroin prostitute axe killer? It doesn't make fucking sense. It doesn't.
All right, so
Yeah, Afro Ninja, yeah. But I'm just saying, like it would make more sense that for me, it would make more sense that you're not born into this. You learn
no
mistakes. You learn bad things.
That's if you actually agree that there's sin in the first place. But the issue, the issue for me, it's gonna be 3. No, my bad. What the hell am I doing? I want to do 2. I want to let him in on 2. And that's due diligence. All right,
Due diligence, that picture's ill, yo.
Due diligence, you in
Appreciate
the
it.
building.
Peace. What's happening, fellas?
Ain't nothing. Hold on for a minute. Due diligence. All right, so for
Yep.
me, Cube, what I'm saying is that the Christian original sin makes more sense. I'm not saying that any of it is right. I'm saying that it makes more sense than the Islamic perspective on the fall of man. You dig what I'm saying? Like, because it makes the purpose more codified. You dig what I'm saying? Now, whether Jesus, you went into whether Jesus could be an atonement for sin, and whether somebody else can atone for your sins. But that's a whole nother issue. I'm just saying that the original sin part and what explains, our trying to reconcile or, submit back to the creator, what created that need to have to submit back or come back into the fold of the creator makes more sense under the original sin. I think is explained better in that scenario. But go ahead, due diligence. What's up with you?
I'm outside right now. Let me get somewhere for a second.
All
Give
right,
me a
go ahead.
second.
Go ahead. So go ahead, Cuban. You see what I'm saying? So you
I mean,
said
I think Christianity is an easy religion. To
yeah,
be
it
honest,
is.
it's just you believe, and you could go out and have sex with 20 chicks on the block and go rob a bank. You go back, do some Hail Marys, or ask for forgiveness. You forgive because you were born to sin.
Yeah, you were born in sin. So
Yeah.
in the Islamic perspective, so you have the Garden of Eden, right? You have all the players there, right? So what would make the Islamic um, revision of that story more plausible, right, than the Christian and the Judean telling of that same story? Because it's
For
just
me,
revisionist.
it's just someone not or people or everyone, you know, not being born in sin. Like that's pretty much it. I mean, that's for me. That's the only thing that that I'm like, okay, I could go with that one.
So
Which is
so
being held accountable. Some,
so
especially when two people talk to a talking snake, and Adam. And this is the other interesting thing, right? So the Bible says that Adam named everything.
mhm.
Like the Quran says that Allah taught Adam the names. So this guy, he named everything, but one day him and Eve, they doing who knows what, and they just start listening to a talking snake.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's just all right. So let's talk historically,
I named you, but I didn't know that you spoke.
right?
Like
So
it's just weird, you know.
right. So that's what I'm saying. It's Islam, right? Coming later. That's Arabians, right? Who's listening to Jewish stories and Christian stories, and then feeling as though they can revise and tell them better to make sense. That's all that is. Like if it was original, right, then it would make more sense. But the original people that told those stories were the Jews and the Christians. The Muslims, the Arabians revised it. I'm not going to listen to the revisionists, right? Tell the original story. And of course I can make it sound better because I'm the motherfucking, I'm the revisionist. I'm looking at, that's like me watching Star Wars and saying, well, I don't like the way the shit ended. So let me, you dig what I'm saying? Because we can all look at a movie, Cuban, and say, man, I don't like the way that shit ended. I could tell it better. What if I say it had, now it makes more sense. The revisionists can always have that upper hand. You dig what I'm saying? But is that the original story? No, it's not. You dig what I'm saying? No, it's not. The person who made the car after Ford put some improvements on it. Fine. But that's not the original car. You just revised that motherfucker. That's not the original. You dig what I'm saying? You can't say, yeah, you made it more safer. Of course, Islam and Arabs made the religion of Christianity and Judaism more safer. They fixed things. You dig what I'm saying? But if God really is real and is the originator of that shit, then the Jew and the Christian story is more closer to God and to the original than the Islamic one. So Islam is just telling the story to make themselves feel better, to place themselves, you dig what I'm saying, on it. And we know it's true because that was their whole issue. Their whole issue was God didn't give us a religion in our tongue. He didn't reveal a religion to us. Lo and behold, Muhammad came along and said, well, yes, he did. Because the Arabs were saying, well, then why didn't this creator talk to us? Well, how did we get left out? You dig what I'm saying? So everything was a telling for them to bring their people in. That's why I don't think that us as African people should have anything to do with that shit in the first place. Because it's very Arab centric, right? It's very Arab centric. It's a telling of the story from their perspective because they wanted to be included. They was around a bunch of rich Christians and rich Jews, and they felt as though that the reason why the Christians and the Jews were and the Zoroastrians were richer and more knowledgeable than them in the world is because of some favor from God directly speaking to them. So Muhammad gave them, well, God actually spoke to you now, right? But what did the Christians and the Jews and the Zoroastrians have? They had strong empires. They had connections with people all around the world. They were more wealthy, right? They seemed more educated, right? These were all of the things that the Arabs had wanted at that time, right? And so it makes so much sense why they took those religions and just revised them, right? They wanted to come into the fold of the prosperity of the Christian and the Jew and the Zoroastrians, right? It was the Persian Empire. Who had a better society than the motherfucking Persians? Well, the Christians at that time was on par. Then we look at who was in the area of Arabia at the time. You had large Jewish communities that was very wealthy at the time, very educated. There were Jewish yeshivas all in Arabia at that time, right? You had far as wise Christians. You had the Byzantine Christian proxy nations that was in Arabia at the time. Who was it? There was the Gashanids and the Lakhmids to the north. They were both Arabians, but they were they were Christian under the Romans, the Byzantines, right? And then you had the Jews, and then you had the Persians to the north. So they was trading with these people. They seen the grandeur of the Christian society. They seen the grandeur and the wealth of the Jewish society. They seen the grandeur and the wealth of the Persian society, and they wanted to participate in it. And they felt as though it was their religion, right, that set them apart. How do you see that? You all due diligence, because I don't think it was nothing divine about the creation of Islam. I think it was their loathing and of other more wealthy societies that they were trading with and that surrounded them, that looked it down on them at that time. Go ahead, speak on it, because I could be dead wrong.
No, I'm reading. Oh, go ahead, bro. So.
Nah, go ahead, because I'm not familiar with the startings of Islam. And if I was to, speak on that, I'd be completely guessing. But that sounds feasible to me. I don't really. I was gonna speak on the original theme, but I don't want to throw that off because you just said a nice little build right there. So if you can speak to that, Cuban, you probably do better than me.
I actually agree. I agree with what Chef is saying. I would just say keep in mind, if you engage in this conversation with a Muslim, I would say definitely know their position on that. Like everything he stated, I mean, I could give you the Islamic response to that. They definitely believe in that it was a divine, that the Quran itself is a divine, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything intentionally played out like that. You know, they believe that the previous books, you know, wasn't just the what they call the Torah or the Injil. Like they believe in the Zabur, the Psalms. They believe in the Sahuf, the scripture that Abraham had. They believe that every nation on this earth had messengers that came. So with a messenger in Islam is one who has a revelation. A prophet is one that prophesizes. In some cases, somebody such as Muhammad or Isa is a prophet. Excuse me. In the case of Muhammad, he would be a prophet and a messenger. Uh, so you know that's going to be their argument to that, and their argument is just it's not gonna line up with what Chef said. But I believe that what Chef is saying, all right, that's what I go with. There's a lot of political things that were taking place, and a lot of it is political. You know, if you look at the Romans, you look at the, the early churches. I mean, you have the Eastern Church, you have the Coptic Church, you have the Roman Catholic. So there's a difference between Catholic and Roman Catholic, and there's also some little sects that are Catholic-like. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so all those religions produced sects. You know, the argument with Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, that can be argued. That can be argued that that some would say Muhammad did see Allah's influence. Some would say that a lot of the Sahaba as well, and there is argument to that. Most of the hadiths narrated by Ibn Abbas and Aisha, and there's a authentic hadith where Aisha says that anyone who says that the Prophet Sallallahu is indeed a liar. You have the hadith that she spoke of when um, that the Prophet had a dream, and in the dream he saw the nur, the light. So the light, the nur, that's one of the attributes of Allah. And there was a veil in front of the nur. So there was a difference of opinion, and you had Ibn Abbas um, that there's some things that's indicating anthropomorphism. So that's the that's a touchy subject, but that's a subject that the everyday Muslim is not going to know about. Like these are conversations that, and I'm not a student of knowledge, so I'm not saying that, but this is conversations that I've found out about, that I've read about, that I've questioned people who are students of knowledge to people who are actual sheikhs on this conversation. The only one that gave me a straight up answer was actually the son of Hashim Jabir, the one who Hashim Jabir buried Malcolm. So we're talking Ali Jabir. And Ali Jabir was the only one that went in on that conversation and was like, yes, there was a disagreement amongst Ibn Abbas and Aisha, but he states that Ibn Abbas recanted his statements. I've never come across these statements to this day. So uh, there are there's some legitimacy here. The truest, I apologize, bro. When I was talking about the flood, what I was saying was that Islam doesn't believe that the flood was a thing of atoning for of people who were born in sin, but they believe in a flood. They believe that it was a sign. They believe that it was a chastisement. They believe that Noah was the prophet to follow at that time, and the people transgressed. So they believe, again, the story kind of changes.
Yeah, so is revisionist. Due diligence, jump in there.
I mean, y'all got it on that. I wanted to, on the question of atonement, because Chef, you were saying that the original sin made more sense than the Islamic version, and I don't know. They both. You said I don't like to compare and contrast, but the concept of atonement and original sin, to me, that is a facade or another way of saying that you are always in debt. And to me, also, that's another way for the people that's the elite class or the people that's, in the hierarchy of the church to, to forever have people that, belong to that church under them. So I don't like the concept of original sin, because to me it's like saying that you're in debt for the rest of your life and you gotta dedicate your. Excuse me, man, I'm driving. I'm trying to hit somewhere, so if it's too loud, just let me know. I'll come back in.
No,
But
you good.
yeah, what do you guys think about original sin and atonement? Just another word for saying debt. You know what I mean? You are forever in debt, and I got a debt that I really can't pay until after I'm dead. So essentially, it's no different than, what we got going on today with, paying property taxes or being under a feudal society or being under some type of kingship society. And in church, it's called atonement or original sin. To me, that's all the same.
Okay, so for me, I'm cool with it. Right? If this is what Christianity say, this is what it is, I'm cool with it. See, for me, the Christian perspective, it makes sense under the framework of Christianity. The Islamic perspective makes sense to me under the Islamic perspective. You feel me? So I don't, for me being an atheist, I don't look at it as one is better than the other, right? If the only way to get back into communion with God is to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior because he died for your sins, and according to the way that the Christians set up their theology, right? Not their theology, but their schism is that uh, original sin entered into the world and changed the nature of man when Adam and Eve disobeyed God. They brought sin into the world. Now, it changed the nature of Adam and Eve and their children, and we're all the descendants of Adam and Eve. So we have the same nature of Adam and Eve, that sinful nature that they took on in the Garden of Eden, right? And the only way to get that sin off is by the blood of Jesus Christ. Now, if that's what Christians say their schism is, I have no problem with that. It makes sense. All right. So I got a sinful nature because of Adam and Eve. If I accept that, then the only way to relieve myself of this sinful nature is by accepting the Lord Jesus Christ and his blood. But makes sense. If the Muslim way, you know what I mean, is to submit to God, right? Um, and follow the tenets of Islam, right? And do all that. If that's the way to do it in Islam, then that's just the way to do it in Islam. But for atheists, none of it in the grand scheme of what makes sense to us. But if I was a Christian, yeah, the Christian way makes sense. If I was a Muslim, the Muslim way makes sense because they set it up for it to make sense, right? All right, this is what I'm saying, due diligence. Just think of a math class, right? When you go into math class, right, and they write that equation on the board, don't none of that shit make sense to you at first. But then when they tell you what all of the variables is, how to plug them in, right? And this is how you get the equation. I mean, this is how you get the correct sum when you plug everything right into the equation. Then it starts to make sense to you. So when Christians, when they put all of their variables together, so as well as the Muslim, and they tell you how to plug everything in, and this is how you get to the sum, then it all makes sense under their laws. Under the laws and the logic of Christianity, Christianity makes sense. Under the laws and the logic of Islam, Islam makes sense. Under the laws and logic of Judaism, Judaism makes sense. Now, does the laws and logic of religion, does it make sense to an atheist? No, it don't. because you can't prove none of that shit. None of that shit is tangible. None of that shit comes with anything that's real. You dig what I'm saying? That we can plug in to how the world works and what we see as an atheist. That's all we're saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry I took so long.
No, you made great points. And I agree with you also that, if you in that system, it's gonna make sense to you because really you have to dedicate your life to it. It's really about giving up your common sense and having faith. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't just ask you, you know what I'm saying? Do you believe Jesus died and resurrected and died for your sin? So essentially it's asking you to give up your damn sense. It's saying that if you can give up your damn common sense and believe in this, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Because person with common sense ain't gonna believe that. But essentially the psychology behind it is if I can get you to believe this, then you the type of person that I need. But what I was trying to explain to you, Chef, is that I think what religion does is come up with another type of debt. You know what I'm saying? Because they act like that is not. But if I can believe that you are in this eternal debt, you know what I'm saying? I got to give my money to you for the rest of my life. I gotta give my resources to you for the rest of my life, and it's no different than all these other type of debt systems. That's what I'm saying. Can we look past the stories and see essentially what it's doing to us in principle? And in principle, I believe at the end of the day, it's to keep us in eternal debt.
A sin debt. You saying sin is debt?
Yeah, I'm saying atonement is how you pay for sin, and it means that I got to go to church every Sunday, get 10%, live by your laws, and hopefully I can get to heaven in order to repay that debt of that original sin that I ain't got no knowledge of. And you telling me that like when I was born, ain't nobody told me, but I ran into a preacher, our pastor, and he was like, do you know you got a debt to pay? Come pay this 10%. Come pay this 10% and you can get into heaven, for the rest of your life. But it's no different than a matriarchy or a patriarch or anybody else that's taxing your ass. They just give you a fairy tale to believe in and make you feel good about it. They guilt you to death. Play on your empathy and sympathy.
No, I'm with you. Q, where you at?
I never believed in original sin. I agree wholeheartedly with due diligence. It's a debt. It's like, well, these two people that were naked in the jungle, that listened to the talking snake, they ate that fruit, and now you're gonna grow old and die. You're gonna disease. You're imperfect. You're fucked. So hopefully this flood will pan out. Oh, that didn't work out. Oh, let me send myself down as baby Jesus and save the world. I don't believe that. I think it is ultimately is it comes to money. It's as you think about the Roman Empire, the expansionism of the Roman Empire, how far that stretched. So you're talking now, they colonize other present day European countries. Uh, they imposed language on them, they imposed a religion on them that they initially persecuted the people of that religion, but becomes a part of their culture. Now you have an empire, it's expanding, it's taking land, it's taking natural resources, you know. There's money. There's money when you got churches being made. They don't pay taxes today. The people in the church, the people in the masjid, they're just trying to, get by, man. A lot of them aren't engineers and shit, you know. And even though it's not rigorous in Islam like Christianity, you really only have to fulfill zakat after Ramadan, and it's very low. But people still donating. People still you're buying books, you're buying audios, you have people attending universities, you have people that's paying for Arabic classes, you have people that's paying for all types of religious classes sometimes. It's not always free. So there's money being made.
No, I'm oh, there we go. I'm with that, but the whole problem with it is if you're saying that Christianity costs too much, or the reason why you would?
Well, no, I was saying I said that because when he mentioned the when they have to pay the thing on Sunday, the little tilth, whatever it is. Uh,
I'm saying that.
yeah, like it's not pressure like that. Like nobody's passing baskets around unless you go to the Nation of Islam. They pass baskets around on Sundays, but a masjid, they don't do that. They don't pass baskets around. There's a box, a cat back box. The imam might say, oh, let's donate. We need the parking lot, or we have to fix the sister side of the masjid. Something like that. But there's no passing plates and all that. You don't do that. I think that's a little over the top.
Oh yeah, the
I'm
money
saying
making apparatus inside of Christianity, it's more in your face. Let's say that. All right. It's more in your face. A book that I read, let's see. A book that I read is by, I read this back way back in the day, y'all. It was called it's by Albert Churchward. Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man. Um, and in Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man, Albert Churchward, he goes through the progression of religion, right? From voodoo priests and, witch doctors, right? Up into the grandeur we see of grand masjids and huge Hindu temples and huge basilicas all over the world, right? Cathedrals and basilicas and masjids and temples of Hinduism, right? And in here, he talks about how religion started in its infancy. And he talked about how the first people were tricked, right? Were duped into believing that if they gave, because everybody had to work to eat, right? But he said, he talked about how the first priests came from the witch doctors in them that will be able to sit in their huts and tents, right? And have you work like a dog, hunt, scavenge, what do they call it? When you go forage for food and all of that, and you will bring it back to them, and they didn't have to do no work. They could say that I'm in the hut praying and appeasing, this spiritual force, right? So while you out there hunting and scavenging and, you dig what I'm saying, finding food for the community, right? I don't have to participate in it. I gotta stay in the hut, right? And make sure God or this spiritual force, right, don't kill us, that we gonna all wake up in the morning, because they feared the night, right? The night was the terror to them, right? Because that's when the most vicious animals and stuff was on the hunt. You dig what I'm saying? The nocturnal creatures is when we couldn't see in early society was a danger to us. That's why darkness was always kind of feared, and you're coming into the light, right? That's enough.
synonymous with evil.
Exactly, right? So he talked about how um, the early shaman or witch doctor, right? He convinced the people, right, that I don't have to work and scavenge for food and go hunting and gather it, because that was hard work, right? Because you're leaving the comfort of the community, right? You're going out into the wild. I don't have to do that. Y'all go do it, and y'all bring the stuff back to me, right? So I get to eat for free, right? I get the best of foods. Why? You got to give it to me, because I'm the one who's going to make sure we survive the terrors of the night. You dig what I'm saying? So I think all religion and all priests, right, is following that same age-old trick. Now, just because the
Let me speak to that, Chef.
huh? Go
I
ahead.
said, don't lose your point. Let me speak to that.
Go ahead.
That's what I was saying. Essentially, when we talk about something being too expensive or something being taxing, it ain't just money. It's for those reasons you just said right there too. You know what I'm saying? I have to come to you to get my salvation. I have to come to you to get morality. I have to come to you into this church and give you my resources. I have to abide by your laws. So it's taxing on every single level, and I have to bring my resources to you, and you get to live high on the hog because you have this relationship with something that I don't have, whether it be the witch doctor, the preacher, the pope, whoever's at the top of that hierarchy. You're saying that I got something that you got to come get through me,
Yes,
and
sir.
it becomes too taxing.
Yeah. So for me, right, and in all religions in every society, um, the clergy, the religious building, the apparatus, all of that is not under the same financial burden, right, um as the rest of the society, right? They almost, the people come and give to, like Cuban just said, they're gonna supplement the masjid, whether the masjid asks for money every day, whatever the masjid need, the parishioners are going to pay for it. You dig what I'm saying? So either way, the imams in them get to eat and live off of that stuff for free. The only thing they gotta do is preach. You dig what I'm saying? The only thing they gotta do is be there by virtue of their status in the religion. The priesthoods is all the same. Now, some is more gaudy than others, right? Some is more in your face, but it is all the same thing at the end of the day for me. You dig what I'm saying? For me. I don't know. You know what I mean? I've always seen it like that. Now, yes, do Christianity, far as wise in America and in the Western world, does it especially Protestantism, in Catholicism is a little bit different. You know, their dress is more modest than Protestant dress codes. You dig what I'm saying? For the everyday um, priest, but then you start to see a difference once you see certain pastors in Catholicism. Their robes and gowns start getting a little bit more flyer. You dig what I'm saying? Then when you become, as your rank goes up, it gets, yeah. You start to see bishops. They're gonna show you their robes and stuff say that they bishops. You dig what I'm saying? So you start to move up. Yeah, so I see it all as the same. I see it as the same on different levels. What you say, Cuban?
I
Oh, go ahead, due diligence. My bad.
and then yeah, I want to hear what Cuban got to say too. I was just going to add to what you said, and then they put another facade on top of that. Whenever we got this so-called break away from church and state, well, the state is set up the same way. It's set up the exact same way. So we think we got from up under the church and got with this benevolent government, and we got a democracy, but it's the same system again. They tricked us again, like, yeah, we gonna give y'all this government, you know what I'm saying, democracy, and let y'all think y'all really captured y'all's way, but it's really the same thing in a different form. And we fell for it again. But what y'all think about that? I'm gonna get about this ride right quick so I won't be
No,
so loud.
I'm with you. You know what I mean? I'm with you. Where you at, Q? Q about fall asleep. Q gotta go to work.
I gotta make another pot of coffee. Well, all right. So, in regards to, let's just say money, right? In religion. I take issue with it when that's what it's all about with certain practitioners of various religions, right? So not every Muslim, not every Christian, not every Jew, not every Buddhist, not every whatever is like some predatory capitalists. You know what I mean? Like, so there's exceptions to the rule. Um, but like for example, money will still play a role in a religious person's life. So if you purchase a book, if you don't purchase a book and you want to download PDFs, well, you got to pay internet bill, got to pay a light bill, right? Um, if there's a place that you like, say Muslims, they go to Mecca, well, you got to pay uh, for a passport if you don't have it. You got to get the plane ticket, got to get the hotel stay. Because a lot of them weren't doing what they were doing back in some brothers in the 90s were still camping out in the desert. Like there was brothers that weren't going to hotels. Now, I don't think the camping out is very popular, so people go to hotels. So you got to pay for that. You got package deals you got to pay for. You die, you got to have janazah. That costs money. It's not a lot of money. It's very inexpensive. But you got to get the plot. You have to get the casket.
Mm-hmm.
So money is gonna play a role. I mean, even if you're an atheist, it's gonna play a role. It plays a role with everybody. It's just, that's this. There's no getting around it. Wherever you go, it's gonna be. And if it's not dollars, if it's some other type of currency, to whether it's I don't know, you trade pigs or goats, you're still dealing with some type of system of exchange. That someone's getting something. But
Mm-hmm.
um my problem is when that becomes a focal point, when that becomes clear as day that the motives of that particular person or these particular people, their agenda is to get some money. I think that's a red flag for anything in life. That's all it's about. You know, if it's not really about it's like if somebody goes to therapy, if your healthcare don't cover it, you gotta pay for it. But if you're going there and the person is just taking that money and you're not getting no results, and let's just say you are giving it your all, but you're not getting the results, then does that mean that therapy's bad, or does it mean you go to another therapist?
Yeah, that's
Huh?
no, you absolutely right. But oh my God, that's crazy.
I'll be right. I gotta make coffee.
All right, go ahead.
It's probably
So
be about
I,
five, 10 minutes.
I think it's more of a I think it's more of a issue when we say uh when we try to put certain religions on a pedestal, right? When for me, like I said before, I think they're all doing the same thing. You dig what I'm saying? I think it is all, you know, uh, a racket, or could be perceived as a racket. Because I won't say that, every preacher believes or every imam I think there are genuine people who believe that and that are doing good in their capacity as um uh uh what am I trying to say? In their capacity as servants to the community, right? Um I do see I was raised Muslim, so I know the outreach and the charity that my masjid growing up did. I know what they participated in. I know that the people put the money into it and they felt as though that they were helping the community when they were doing, you dig what I'm saying? When they was doing the outreach and the charity and the stuff like that. I know my grandmother church and those people that gave to the church, felt as though they were doing something benevolent by feeding the homeless and things like that. So I'm never saying that that the parishioners in these religions are not doing good works and not trying to help society and community as a whole. When we look at the charities that go around the world, the Red Cross is a religious organization. I couldn't imagine what the inner cities and stuff like that and healthcare and relief would be around the world, if it wasn't for the Red Cross. Um, the Red Crescent is the equivalent of that in the Islamic world. You dig what I'm saying? So we know the things that our religious organizations do to alleviate uh, turmoil and pain within society and to try to help people. So I'm not casting a blanket dispersion over religion as a whole, but I'm saying that the apparatus, that they all participate in gain for their own purposes, that we can readily see, and it just doesn't lay on the back of the Christian so much as we like to say. It's just that we live in a predominantly Christian society, so it's easy for us to point out, you dig what I'm saying, the ills of Christianity because they are heavily in our communities, right? I think if we lived in the Arabian world where Islam is the predominant religion, in that society, I think there'd be a lot of scrutiny that could be laid at their doorsteps, the same way that scrutiny can be laid on the doorstep of Christianity in a majority Christian nation. Go ahead, due diligence.
Indeed. Yeah, the like you said, the apparatus is the same, the system is the same, and it's just, and like you said, it's not that
You cut out. You cut out, due diligence.
had no access to. So was it always a plot? Was it always a scheme? Is there really this place that we damn, I'm sorry, excuse me. Is it really this place that we don't have access to, that other people have access to, that we need them in order to get access to this place? I think that's the real question. Not as if it can the tool be used for good or bad, but do these things that they preaching to us, do they exist? Or are we just being bamboozled? You know what I mean? That's more the question to me, because I don't want to pay your taxes, whether it be my resources, my money, my time, your rules and regulations. Like, I don't want to be taxed in none of those ways. You feel me? And I don't want to be the
Mm-hmm.
fool in your scheme. So my thing is that, I think it's all a damn scam. Now, that's not to say that we don't need some type of order, that we don't need some type of governance, but you ain't got to trick me into it. Just give me the real. I'm okay if it ain't no heaven and it ain't no hell. I don't need no reward for being good, and I don't need no punishment for being bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown ass man. I'm gonna do good because I know, it progresses the world. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that got sense know that if you do so-called positive things, it's going to be better for the society as a whole. So, I don't need a punishment system and a reward system like some type of animal. You know what I'm saying? I think by now, at the point that we at now, humans in general have enough sense to do good for the sake of good. Now, was there once upon a time to where the majority of the world was ignorant and we needed to be pushed in a direction? I think so. You know what I'm saying? Coming up out the Stone Age and the beginning of civilization, to where people weren't educated. A lot of people were superstitious, like you said, Sheffrin. The
Mm-hmm.
dark. People were scared of the dark, literally. People were scared of lightning, literally. People were scared of floods, think they displeased the God or something, because we had all these natural disasters, and the only thing you could think of was, something that's outside of yourself doing this to you. And then we always went to these people that had some type of connection with whatever it is, in order to, help us with it. But they ain't never, was they really ever doing something? Or, was they getting bamboozled back then? And I think that system is just perpetuating itself. So, this thing,
Nah, I
and we
mean,
got to read.
listen, you
Go
just
ahead.
said a mouthful. That's the same way I think Cuban. Go ahead, jump in there.
Well, I had got coffee, so I don't even really know what was.
We
I
were
was just
still
gonna say,
we were
yeah,
still talking about
everybody.
how religion what don't doesn't matter what religion it is, the apparatus to extract resources um from the people is still the same.
Still the same in what context?
In the context that you're giving your hard working money to them because your belief uh is that you're doing something what's the word? Um
Or to progress you in the afterlife.
I wasn't gonna say that. It will be more of a when you do something, it's a form of religious piety. Dagger.
Hmm, hmm. For me, I would judge it on criteria,
Go ahead,
and
explain.
again, it would go to people who misuse and abuse vision. So, like, because we were talking about Islam, so like, charity is a smile. Charity is saying good morning to somebody, moving garbage from the street, or something sharp that could pop a tire. Like Islamically, that would be charity.
Mm-hmm.
But what people do as practitioners is another thing. It's the same thing for this conversation to be taking place. And for me, I'm not biased. So you have, let's just take Facebook, right? How many
Mm-hmm.
of you have had a Babalawo, a supposed Babalawo, inbox you 2, 3 o'clock in the morning from Nigeria?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Or
I don't even know about Allah.
people people in that people that in that arena that will reach out to you, or if somebody, let's just say, somebody takes interest in wanting to take steps to get into that. There's a process. I'm not even gonna get into it. It's a process. There's things that take place, right? But you have people that will tell you something that's bullshit because they want some money, right? So once if the person becomes uh, informed or more knowledgeable about, let's just say Ifa or Lupami or Palo or something like that, you realize that's not this doesn't teach that. So is it the religion or is it the people? It's like the educational institutions. Public schools still teach Columbus discovered America. Is it education and history that's a problem? Or is it the curriculum? Is it those that's overseeing that department, overseeing the school district that's teaching that?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when it comes to religion, for me, I'm going to separate criteria from people. If that criteria is lining up with why people do what they do, then I can see. But if the criteria is saying something opposite, I wouldn't say this religion teaches that. No, I would say people that claim they're of that religion or claim this, that, and the third, they do this, but that's not what the religion teaches. It's like Islam doesn't teach in suicide bombing, but it's constantly pumped out that no, it doesn't. It's
I agree, but
suicide.
there's something
Yeah.
in Islam that can lead to suicide bombing.
Mhm.
See, uh,
That's the
Christian
political aspect.
Christianity doesn't teach taking all of the money from the people and driving Cadillacs and Bentleys. right? And getting private jets. Christianity doesn't, the Bible and Christianity doesn't teach that, but there's something in Christianity that allows for that to happen. So it ain't always, you dig what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. You dig what I'm saying? But the religion does not get exonerated because of the teaching is not there. But it's something there that allows that to happen, and the religion fosters that. So you can't just say that in a vacuum to alleviate the religion from the bad shit that the people are doing in that religion. You dig what I'm saying?
I agree.
And we
So
can dig into that a little bit.
so like for you take very evident, very, very evident that in Muslim countries there are people that are like lining up to do this, right? So there's political issues going on, right? That's been going on. So, if you're being bombed, if your land is being taken over, you see your house that's been there for generations, it gets bulldozed. You know, some people get sick of being sick and tired and take it to that level. But then the flip to it is the religious part. So you have people that will claim things such as being a scholar, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Bin Laden claimed he was a scholar. He wasn't a scholar. There was the other guy, Al-Awiki or whatever, and something. He was from Yemen. He died. They killed him. He wasn't a scholar, right? So when you have people that are already being indoctrinated with a um, perverted version, and then they will use things such as what's the ayah in the Quran? Do not take the Jews and Christians as friends or associates, right? Or you'll read a verse. I think it speaks of, or you'll read history. It talks about that there were Jews killed. There's context to it. It wasn't all Jews. It wasn't all Christians. It was particular ones that there was a problem they were having, but it wasn't something towards the rest. So this becomes extreme. So there's extremism that's indoctrinated into people. There's extremism not even dealing with violence, but extremism in the sense of they say the U.S. police is the world. You got they call them Salafi police, where you shaved your mustache off, or your beard's not long enough, or your pants they need to be rolled up to this length. You have people that's like that. They're extreme. They're very extreme. They're very rigid. And for me, I look at it, it boils back to people that are just very miseducated, people that just have very extremist tendencies. And I think that exists in life, period. I think it exists in every facet of life, even in a relationship. You have people that will intentionally go out and cheat. You have people that will physically abuse, sexually abuse. It's like that person that got pregnant. That doesn't mean relationships. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean being with someone's a bad thing.
No,
So
I agree.
yeah, I try now in life to not generalize and put everybody in the same category. Again, I can flip it to atheism. I have no issue with an atheist. I have no breaking bread with you, chilling, the whole nine. But if it's an atheist that's just disrespectful, I take issue with that because
I'll be back, fellas.
what's the point?
I do.
It's the same way if it's a religious person being disrespectful to an atheist. What's the point? What are you getting out of this? If you're both saying what you're saying is true, the disrespect, the name call, the insult, all that, it's like a creationist will say something like, oh, you guys believe man came from monkeys. You believe in a monkey god. Yeah, that's disrespectful. You're saying ignorant things and not listening to what the atheist or the person who's in evolution is saying. You just want to hear certain things because you don't like it. It doesn't go with your narrative. That's life. Everybody got their own destiny.
No, everybody definitely do that in those conversations. And it's crazy because Corey had posted a video of a lady who was back in the 70s. She had a long career, and she was from Baltimore. She had a long career as an atheist. Um,
Mm.
oh, let me see what her name was. But I was watching her videos this morning, man, and they were so entertaining. Um, because she was an old white lady and she was giving everybody the business back in the day. Um, they would put on panels, um, with preachers in it, and she would go in. Damn, where the hell is that at? She would literally go in and pretty much handled herself as a woman back in them days very well. You know what I mean? Uh, where the hell is that at? Because me, Corey, and Vance was texting early this morning. Here you go. No, that ain't it. But
Afro
this,
Ninja raises a good question. What
what do you
wars
say?
have been fought over atheism? That's a legitimate question.
What wars have been fought over atheism?
I mean, the closest has just been intellectual war. Debates. You know, but that's a legitimate question. I think that is a problem that some creationist atheists have, is that they want to be so much in conviction of what they stand on that oftentimes uh, they're biased. It's kind of like if I turn around and say DNA is a fraud, that's stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
That's not religious. That's science. It's a fact. If me and you were in court right now facing the death penalty, we better hope that DNA test is going to exonerate us. That's just you know
No, you,
trying.
you
What I mean?
absolutely
Like it's like so these, I don't even want to mention the names of these groups. The people who deny this, it's just like it's insane. So for somebody who believes in God to turn around and they denounce uh, DNA, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. No, they so but I feel as though the religious person feels the same way about a person who denies the existence of God. They feel as though it is ridiculous. Like, because they'll say, how do you explain this world before you? How do you explain your existence if there's no creator? If there's nothing, you didn't create yourself. So the religious person finds the the denial of the existence of a creator um just as ridiculous as the atheist finds the postulation of a creator ridiculous. You did?
Mhm. Mhm.
They both, find equal ridiculousness in each other's positions. And me, I understand both sides. See, I'm not a ridiculous atheist.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of people be ridiculous. I'm not ridiculous with it. You know what I mean? It's certain things that, you know, um, that human beings want that science doesn't answer. And it might be out of want for the most part. You know what I mean? Human beings want certain things to be true. You you know? So it's a lot of things that science says it can't answer because sometimes religion asks ridiculous questions. You dig what I'm saying? And I think religious people uh, don't know that some of their questioning is ridiculous. You dig what I'm saying? Or some of the things that they wonder about is oh, they shooting at me now y'all gotta get the tool. But yeah,
You don't got a crowbar?
a crowbar.
I'm in the head, man.
Maybe I need one.
No, you ain't got no crowbar.
Maybe I need one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I mean, this to me, this conversation is proof that the conversation can take place in a civil way. No, nobody getting upset, no one yelling, nobody going nuts. And, you know, we got to set up the debate. There's nothing to debate.
No, it's a conversation.
It's a conversation, but it really is nothing to debate because for me to say, oh, I can make God appear, you know, or for someone to say, well, there's no proof, right? At the end of the day, it's just gonna be two people sitting there. You know what I mean? And guess what? The next day the sun's gonna be shining, and you're gonna be breathing, and you're gonna wake up and take a shit and have some coffee and do whatever and have your and start your day. Like it's just not anything for me. It's not anything to get upset about at all.
No, I agree. We like to get upset about it because we hold our religions very dear to us. You dig? So
Mm.
we hold out.
You gotta blow those things up, huh?
I'm thinking about. I'm trying to work on my aim though. I'm trying to do more headshots. The Let me reload the blicky. But you know what? Man, that was a headshot. These motherfuckers didn't smoke me. Damn it, damn it, damn it.
Yeah, you shoot that billboard sign that was flashing. If you shoot that, would it fall over?
I don't know. Let's try.
That's a good point. I cannot pronounce the first name, but the last name Menendez. He replied to Afro Ninja about Lenin. You know, Lenin was an atheist, Marxist, or Marxism, Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh. I mean, you have cases of things, you know, with atheists. I mean, that's a fair argument. But uh, even in that, does that reflect what atheism is? No. I've never read where atheism teaches to go out and kill masses of people.
Give me a second.
Mm.
My bad, Joe. I had a phone call. God damn it.
That was very awkward, but sorry.
Yeah. All right, so well, yeah, that's yeah, I don't think religious people, like I was saying, I don't think they are that I think that religious people become less religious with more knowledge and information. You dig? I think what's missing out of religious people is knowledge and information. And this is why I say that though, Cuban. Follow me. Chat, follow me, y'all. How do I say it? All right, this is the logic. When you don't know something, well, when people in previous generations, and the further you go back, the more they didn't know, everything that they didn't know, they attributed to something spiritual or something metaphysical or a creator, right? Everything that they didn't know was a part of the unseen world, right? So it was more, damn it was more of a thing where when you didn't know when you didn't know what caused the rain, you claimed something supernatural for the causality of rain. When you didn't know what caused illness, you ascribed something supernatural to illness. You dig what I'm saying? When you don't know, so religion and God is always tied to what human beings don't know. So the more your knowledge grows, the smaller your God becomes in the religious world. You dig what I'm saying? Now, so for instance, so now human beings are tasked with, because we done found out a lot of the things about what makes the world move, right? We learned the laws of gravity and things in motion, and things attracted to larger bodies, and so we understand, you dig what I'm saying, a lot of why things do what they do, right? So one of the things that we're grappling with for the last, say, 1,000 years has been what happens when we die. Now, we've been grappling with that since human beings first started. The first, when we first see human beings doing anything abstract, right, with art or anything, even the burying of the dead, it was always a concern of what happens to us when we die. So this is the last foothold that I feel as though religion has on modern man. It's what happens to us when we die. And I think it's been answered, but through our vanity, right? We don't want to accept what nature or what science has said about what happens to us when we die, the finality, the conclusion of it, right? We don't want to accept that. But we've accepted the reason why the sun rises in the morning, right? We accepted why the tides come in. We accepted the scientific reasons why it rains, right? But the only thing we haven't really accepted yet, right, in general, is what happens to us when we die. And that's out of human vanity, Do you agree with that?
Hmm. Hmm. Um,
I don't
I
want
mean,
fucking. I don't-
yeah, I mean, there's things I disagree with you on. You know what I mean? But like for me, it's and we, it's not a thing for me of having to like prove a point. Like when I was prior, early in my life, I was kind of like that, and I've learned that that's just not a good thing. It's you gotta let people be, and I look at it, if people are good people, harming people, things like this, whatever is working for you, continue doing it. Continue doing what you're doing. So, um, in regards to death, I used to be an undertaker,
Jesus.
and I got to know a lot of morticians, and it's like I've seen people killed in front of me, um, but it's different for me at least. It's different when you're around bodies that are deceased, and it's kind of weird because it's like especially when it's a body where you don't see no physical damage to the body.
Mhm.
You're waiting for the person to literally move, get up,
Mhm.
um, and it's an empty shell. So, for me, my view is that we know we have all the intricate parts of the anatomy of the body and all the different functions, and the responsibilities that it carries out in the body, to even externally on our body. The human body is so amazing. It has a security system, if you will. The cells, security. Your rib cage is security. The layers of our skin, the fat muscle tissue, the skeleton. It's for me.
Mhm.
This for me is one of my personal evidence of there being a creator.
Because
It's
of
I've
what?
heard arguments. I've heard arguments in regards to the anatomy of the human body where certain things are located. Um, that's for me. That's nothing that makes me not believe in a creator. Um, about everything has a way that it discharges its waste. You know, um, for me, I find that to be even more unique. The locations on the body, what takes place uh, anatomically in these areas. Um, the uniqueness of the the fact of males having an external organ, sexual organ that goes into a internal sexual organ. Everything that takes place within that, the womb.
Okay, so
So what I'm getting at with this is that to have now this empty vessel. Well, what's making us do what we do now? Yes, there's things that take place in the body, but that's it. It's like that's that. So it's. Mm,
so you have
I
a
think
hard time believing that
yeah, I
because
can't
of
do
the
that.
body's intricacy, right?
The
Or
intricacies of the
your
human body.
perceived, your
Mhm.
perceived, the
Yes,
perceived intricacy. right? Of a body, it makes you believe that that life exists beyond the body because the body is so intricate to you.
Very intricate, and it's not just the human body. It's just nature. It's everything. It's too profound to be something by mere incidents. You know, that's for me. You know, and I've listened to, the opposite argument. And like I said, there's nothing that upsets me. I listen. But this is things I don't agree with. Um, there's nothing. I mean, for me on that, there's nothing really else to say. I mean, it's just.
It's just you haven't been
I
able to
see.
get
I
around.
put it's that to say you live, a person lives 23 years on Earth.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's. Mm-mm.
No,
I can't even. I can't. It's. I cannot conceive. I just can't conceive that's it. And it doesn't mean that you're going and you're flying around and being some mystical place. I'm not saying that, because again, when we talk about people, and how they see the creator, it's not just Abrahamic faiths. So there's different perspectives, and uh, I just, no. And when you've been through things in life, which I'm sure, some people, maybe such as yourself or this other brother, people watch. I mean, the things I've gone through in life, mm-mm.
it makes you say that there's more due diligence. You want to jump in?
Absolutely. Um, yeah, that is the other thing that religion is good for, is because man doesn't know how to reconcile death. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we cannot just believe that, you born and you die and then that's it. There's nothing left. We can't fathom that.
It's a
We
hard
can't
pill to
fathom the
swallow.
fact that, yeah, man. And think about, like, whenever your mama died or your brother died. Like,
They
what's the
can't be
first
just
thing we tend to
gone.
tell people?
Right.
Yeah, and they'll say you'll be back with them. You know what I'm saying? They went to a better place, and it's like a grieving mechanism. You know what I mean? Like, it's a coping mechanism and a grieving mechanism. Like, nobody wants to let that into their mind and their soul that once you die, that's it. And one of the main things is because uh, it implies that nothing matters then. And like I said before, that doesn't imply that, because a mature man will know that even if there's no heaven and no hell, you still supposed to do.
You fell out. You fell out. Due diligence. Damn it, he was cooking.
Oh man, you can't hear me?
Yeah, you fell out. We can hear you now. Whatever you was doing.
Oh,
Dude. Yeah, your connection. Fuck. These motherfuckers throwing Molotovs, yo. That's what the fuck is going on. My ass on fire.
He got knocked out. What happened?
Yeah, it sound like it.
Hmm.
Due diligence.
What time? No, he's not there.
Right there on. So look, so for me, um, you're not saying nothing that I don't grapple with myself, or that is I'm never saying that I'm totally comfortable all the time with death being the end. You know what I mean? It's not in human beings, right? Uh, it's not in no animal actually that I've seen that has a comfortability with death. I ain't seen no animal, right? Um, Even in nature, have comfortability with death like that, right? So it's an uneasy thing for most sentient beings to see the cessation of life, and to know that, you know, a loved one inside of your society is no longer alive. You'll see elephants stay with their dead for hours, mourning. Mourning. You wouldn't put the elephant on the same level with a human being. You dig what I'm saying? They showed how whales go through a cycle of grieving when somebody in their pod, you know, dies. You dig what I'm saying? So I think that the bigger the capacity of the brain, right, the more stronger the social connection is to the people in your pod or your group. And the cessation of life is trauma to mostly all living things that I've seen. You dig what I'm saying? Um, Mother birds will fight for the protection, you dig what I'm saying, of the nest, because they don't want them babies to die, right? Now they got a bird brain, right? So I don't think that the thing that we covet the most, far as wise, um, our our aversion to death. You dig what I'm saying? I think our aversion to death is just heightened by the size of our brain, right? And our memory, right? Because we remember. I'm letting you in now, Tuck. I think. Oh, due diligence and Tuck is back. I think that memory thing. Um, I'm hungry as shit too. Let me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Man, I don't know what's
You're
going on.
Tuck, what up?
I don't know where we was at. Where was y'all at?
yeah,
We
we in here.
yeah. We was talking about how religion has, I was saying that one of the last footholds that religion
Let me get
has on
the
us.
mic back.
What happened, Tuck? Oh, I was saying that one of the last um things that religion has over us is the unknown of death, or our our vanity that's connected with our own death. We don't like that at all. So um we give religion more dominance in those areas, because everything else that religion used to explain, we done figured out what it was. We know why it rains. We know why the tides come in. We know why it get dark when you know what I mean, the day and night cycles. All of the things that we used to say that God, did. Once we found out what the true mechanism is for those things and why those things operate like that, we kind of removed God from it. So it's one thing that we're not settled with yet, and that's death. So we still use religion because we want to believe that somehow it ain't all over once we die. We in love with ourselves, Cuban. You dig what I'm saying? You love yourself, bro. You don't want to, but you think that you the shit, and you don't want to believe it's just over. You know what I mean? Like I'm magnificent. You feel me?
Oh
It
shit.
can't just be over like that for me. You feel me?
That's
This bad motherfucker gotta go on. You know what I mean? He can't. It can't just be over for a slick motherfucker like me. Yeah, all human beings believe. We want to believe that shit. God couldn't have just made me and then it just be over like that. There has to be a creator. It has to be more to this thing. My mother can't be just gone. She was everything to me. You know how powerful and beautiful we think our mother is? Our grandmother? You know how much wisdom our grandmother had? She can't just be gone like that. And no more? No, human beings, we're not mature enough, right? We're not mature enough to accept that. And even me as an atheist grapples with that. I want to be able to talk to my mother again. You feel me? I want to be able to talk to my father again. You know what I mean? I wish that is a hope for me, right? That one day I'll be able to see my father and talk to that nigga again. But the reality of it is, my man gone. And I'm gonna be gone one day. And my daughter is gonna wish she could talk to me again. That his high's gonna be over for my fucking father. And the cycle goes on and on and on.
Hey, Chef,
What up
you
with it?
kicking religion now. You kicking religion's ass right now. You kicking right now. Because that's the lifelong feat though. And then we done had people to come along and they want you to be all right. That's what it really is about. You want your people to be all right. And then first people was like, look, if you don't believe in this is what's gonna happen to you. And now we got a long line of people. We got Pastor Bennett and all of them said, well, ain't nobody forced me into nothing. Ain't nobody forced my hand into nothing.
Right.
When the first people that knew about the shit, they was forced into shit. The people, especially the people that look like us. Jeff. Even the mobs, jids, and all that shit. I know you got alliances to it, Jeff. But you really just kick their ass too. I call it the hope hustle. It's the never ending. And if you can hustle people after death, Chef, oh man. Oh man. When they die, you still got it. Oh man, it's the best game in town. It's the best game in town. I don't want to think that my grandmother done. Miss my grandma. I want to think that she waiting on me somewhere, and I'm gonna be able to speak to her just like I spoke to her when she was alive.
Exactly.
So I still got a ounce of belief in me, but I don't really believe in shit. I don't believe in nothing.
But it
Nothing at
makes you
all.
feel
But
better.
absolutely, it's
Exactly.
still good shit. Absolutely, Chef.
It
I
makes
just
you,
came on to say that I heard you kicking religion's ass, and I know you don't be wanting to put your foot all the way in there though, but you doing a great job, Chef.
yeah. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Oh wait, who you was talking to? Cuban Crisis though?
Yeah, my
You was
man
talking to
Q.
Cuban? Oh, okay. He's still
Hello?
in the store.
No,
What's up, dude?
he definitely
Peace.
hey yo, y'all gotta get the hold on. Y'all go ahead and
My bad.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all can hear me or not.
we can hear you, dude. Go ahead.
Oh, nah, you said another key factor to it also. You know what I mean? Chef said it pretty good. And, I thought I was cooking before I got up out of here, man. That hurt a little bit. But anyway, like, if you just use your common sense, you would not take the deal that religion tries to give you anywhere else in the world. And that is to say what you said. People give you this deal that once you die, I'm going to grant you everlasting life. Hold on. You mean you're going to give me something after I die? Like, how can I cash in on that? You know what I'm saying? Like that's deep right there. You would never take that deal any other time besides religion, and it goes against your common sense. It goes against
That's
your
right.
sense.
But
So
dude, but dude,
so
but
go ahead.
listen. You know how they had to run their game. You got to run it by force. That's the only way that you can get out of your common mind and think something like that could even be possibly true. It had to be motherfuckers starving people and then be like, hey, look, you don't want to be like them, do you? You don't want to be like none of them people, do you? You don't want to be starving out here. Look at what my God did for me over here. You want this turkey sandwich, don't you, motherfucker? If you want this turkey, this how you gotta be. So we know if we can go, but our minds ain't supposed to be like this, dude. See one thing about it, we supposed to still be deaf and dumb, dude. We not supposed to be able to look up information. We not but what, two, three, what is that, chef? Two, three generations from illiteracy. It's not supposed to be people like us walking around. We supposed to still be the dumb and the blind. So when we get information now, dude, and can process it and can go through it and tell, and most of it is our family that we gotta tell it to, that shit is a crock of shit. Then you gonna be the bad guy. They call us black sheep now. But like I said, I still got an ounce of belief left in me, and it's just for the people that I love. That's the only way they can run that game on us now, dude, because we got kids now and they don't want to be shunned by their people. I'm okay with being shunned. I'm all right with it at this point. I don't care if motherfucker don't like me. So, but your kids is gonna grow relationships with people, and you can't just be the loud, belligerent one out. And, I got to go to gymnastics with my daughter and shit. I can't go in there and say, man, y'all know ain't no guy, ain't no motherfucker coming back to say, you can't come out. Like, you can't come out the bag like that. So
No, that's for
we gonna
sure.
go along to get along. Most of the time, that's what we out here doing. So you'll let people slide with shit. Oh, God bless you and all of that shit. In Jesus' name, you the fucking death. When you like, all of that shit is a crock of shit. To me, anyway. But some people, my mama going to choir rehearsal today. She's gonna be at my house today before she go do all of that shouting and crazy shit that I think she is. But I love my mama. So what am
So
I to do?
yeah, no, that's a good question. I think we are going to have to, put something in place of religion, and like what Chef was saying, I think man has come to the point to where we're mature enough in our psychological evolution in order to deal with death and just accept it as it is, and not be a kid and thinking that we have to have something after of it. You know what I'm saying? I think we have come to that point to where we can let it go. And I want to give another aspect to the trickery part of it too. We already know that somebody trying to give you a deal after, give you something after you die is a bad deal. And the flip of that coin is also somebody acting as if they can be your medium to God, or your interpreter to God, or somebody has a direct relationship to God and they can tell you something. Somebody coming up to you and said, God told me to tell you, man, I don't play that shit. Somebody come up to me trying to tell me what God said and what God told them to tell me whenever they leave, I'm gonna check my back pocket and make sure my wallet is still there. I don't believe that. I don't believe nobody is more divine than me. I don't believe nobody have no type of special ability that I can't have. And if you do have some type of special ability, it need to be manifested in your life somehow in order for me to believe it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even got to see you perform no miracle or nothing, but if you telling me you got a direct connection with God that I don't have, then I need to be able to see it somehow. But you're not just gonna
No,
come talking to me, telling me you got something for me from God and think I'm supposed to just believe it. I'm done with that. I'm through with that. I'm good on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's that other part of the coin too.
yes, sir. I do need to see the miracle though. I need to see it. I want to see it in real time. That'll man, listen. If the man came down New Year's Day, Times Square, wouldn't be no more belief left. We'll know it's for sure. He just gotta drop when the ball drops, he just pull up. That's what I need. Pull up. Said he used to say something, give me God's phone number. That's what I always ask for too. Give me the number. Cause men make up stuff all the time. How I know you just didn't make this up? Just show me where he at. I'll talk to him for myself. But I got some stuff I want to ask. I want to ask about slavery. I know Chef want to ask about slavery too. He don't even like his finger. Yeah.
You said you want to say something about slavery?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask God when they give me his phone number.
Oh.
I'm gonna ask him about. That's right. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to showing out because people that believe in this stuff, like I said, if God came back New Year's Day, Times Square when the ball dropped, it would be nothing else to believe. Just pull up. That's hard. Like me and you right now, dude. We got the presence of mind to be here in the damn flesh. How are we more powerful than the God that y'all say created? I just don't think niggas know who created all the stars and the moon and shit. But I'm crazy for that. I don't think y'all know the nigga who did that. And people will profess all this shit after that. I say they played with us in the beginning. When the motherfucking books say in the beginning, they playing with you. That's how I feel. Because you can't know in the beginning. That's a mark of your intelligence right there. In whose beginning? Who and what are we doing here? Like that's what I want. I want the nigga to come back New Year's Day when the ball drop and say, "Yep, that's me in the Bible," and then go back to where the fuck he went back to, and I'm good. Nothing else to believe in. No more game. But hey, the nigga said, "Hey, that's what the nigga said." He turned that water into that wine, and then he gone back to wherever the fuck he was at. And I'm cool. Then what? Then where we go from there? Ain't nothing else to believe. We'll actually know, and knowing is the power. So that's just how I.
Not to mention, my yacht, religion to have you thinking that, slavery was meant to be for us. Religion to have you thinking that, that we are inferior to other people and we deserve slavery and that we curse people according to some people's religion. So you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
And yes, who will justify that? People that look like you and me, they are justify them words in there. To me, when I ask them about it, they'll say, "Well, we wasn't that," that like the Hebrews say, like Cesare, I can tell you. Well, we wasn't following the laws, so that's what had to happen. Like, oh man,
That's
let me
sad,
back
ain't it?
off. But listen,
that's real sad. Hold on, let me finish what I was saying.
Oh, go ahead, my bad, dude, my bad.
So no, you're right about that. That's actually what I was getting to, because you'll talk to Christian people and you'll say that, well, you think that these people came with the right religion, came and kicked our ass, drug us all the way over here. We went through that slavery. You think that they had the right, and they'll say, yeah, we wasn't following the right God, so all that shit we deserve. And that is really sad. They see that as being a part of God's will instead of people doing evil in the name of God. And I say evil, I don't believe in evil, but just to have a word that people know. People just doing negative things in the name of a so-called God. But Black people will accept that and say that we deserved every bit of that because we was over doing some BS as if they came with something better. You know what I'm saying? And for a Black person to internalize that, and take that is extreme. So I want to give you another extreme too. Whenever they was breeding slaves, they had slaves also thinking that they deserved slavery, that they were born a slave. God created you as a slave. So in the words of Harriet Tubman, I would have freed 1,000 more slaves had they known they were slaves. So somebody could come and free you, and they will look at you like you crazy, like what are you talking about? Who's gonna treat me better than master? Where I'm gonna go? What I'm supposed to do? Like this is what I am. This is what I was made to do. So that's a sickness, man, that somebody would put that in somebody else's mind and take a sick individual. And I don't deal with none of those type of philosophies because they using it as a weapon. And we got to be cognizant of it. We so naive. We take these stories, but don't see how it's being used as a weapon against people in general.
That's all facts, dude. You see, I always ask the question when I deal with Bible believers. I say, just shut the book. Now, if you think this book come from God, it don't matter what's in it. They got you. They already got you. If you think it come off a nimbus cloud, then it don't matter what it's saying here. You'll try to justify it. the memes and all of the stuff, and you being whoever in the book. If you believe it come from God, they got you already. You don't gotta read through it or nothing like that. So they go to a passage and you say, well, it's in the Bible. It's in there. So I'm good with it. No, sir. I ain't never been that way with no book. I ain't that way with the science books. I be hearing you getting on the racism of Darwin and shit. And dude, you be having them, but then I think they get to talk too much. That's what I be thinking on most of these shows. They'll get to cut into what you're saying, and then they take it somewhere else. I just be like, oh man, you brought up you brought up a whole bunch of quotes from them, and a person couldn't even look at that and say, oh, this motherfucker racist. Not to mention that, he can still have some shit that we can use. Like in the Bible too, it's some shit that we can use. But this shit coming from God is, you see, that in and of itself is a bad thing. That's when belief becomes a bad thing. When we can overlook some bad shit from a person. Like with Chef and his vinegar. He ain't overlooking the fucking slavery. He never will. And I think that's a good thing. You can look at that and say, okay, she was dead, but she was a slave. How about that part of it? How about the racism of Charles Darwin? How about that part of it? But then they'll get to talking and, well, he brought us this. He really was the one that, like, nah, what about this part though? They talked around that part, and now we hear them. But now we hear though, and I hear what you're saying about, I really don't know how to go about it though. I just be asking questions. And if them answers turn into they would pick they God over their children, it just be sickening. They would pick their God over their mama. Like, come on now. You would never do that in real life. And if you hung out with a person that was like this God that they talk about, you would hate that motherfucker in real life. You wouldn't want to be around no jealous, like the characteristics that they tell about the nigga. Nobody would like it in real life. Nobody would like no nigga like that. But we gotta sit and hear them justify killing babies. And the nigga supposedly drowned the whole world, is what I'm hearing in the book. Nigga just kept Noah and some animals and drowned the rest of the damn world. But this is the nigga y'all would want to kick it with. Not me. So yeah, I'm with you, dude. I don't play none of them games. It's about common sense to me. Common sense wins in most scenarios until we start talking about complex shit, the deep ocean and shit like that. Most of the time, common sense don't win. So I'm about to get back to it. I just jumped on to say that I want to keep kicking religions out, and I'm out.
But before you go, let me say I appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate that. And it made me feel good that somebody got it. Because like you said, I'll say those type of things and nobody will acknowledge it. So I don't know if people getting it or not. So I really appreciate the fact that, you get it. You get it. And I hope you keep perpetuating it and let it be known that, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't let the BS bias. And whenever it's put out there, we gotta accept it, man, no matter how it make us feel. You know what I mean? Because people support certain stuff, and whenever the BS come out about it, you just need to let it go. That way, we can all grow. You know what I'm saying? If we let the BS go, we can grow, and that means we can elevate, our status. You know what I mean? Whether it be economically, whether it be whatever the case may be, we gotta let the BS go in order to grow. So I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where you at, Chef? I'm at work, and I can't just, I can't do too much shopping. I'm trying to chime in and chime out while I'm, on my gig at the same time. You know, it's just me and Chef right now. But yeah, I guess I'm up here on the solo dolo mission right now. But you know, people just gotta, wake up and grow up, and deal with reality how it is, the things that we don't know, and be okay with that. It's okay to not know something. We don't have to be no know-it-all. We don't have to know what happens after we die. We don't have to know about no spiritual world. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to get past it. Like you can still have an abundant life. You can still have a meaningful life without all of the magic, without all of the extras and bells. Like we not kids no more, you know. And like the brother said, we not too far away from being an ignorant society as a whole. even the world is not so far away as being ignorant as a whole, but especially us in America, like we need to be proud of ourselves because even though we progressing, and we getting on this science ball and we getting on this history tip, they still got a leg up on us because we are off in a system, right? And they know how their system operates. And we better be cognizant of the fact that it's about to be a new world order, whatever that may be, because every time society starts to catch up to what the elite doing, they switch the system over. And know that it's coming. The system is about to switch, and we got to stay on top of it. And it's going to look like it's going to be forced. But every time they switch the system, it's another form of slavery, not only for us, but for the world. So be ready for that, man. And let's not just take whatever they get us. It's going to look good, but we got to be able to see through it. What up with it, Chef?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I heard
I was trying to,
you was holding it down.
Oh man.
I heard
But
you
anyway,
was holding
man.
it down.
Yeah. But that's ill though, Chef, that to think that we're not that far away from, you know, being completely ignorant. And there was a time in the world to where the majority of the world was ignorant, which is not that long ago. Like the printing press ain't been around for that long, like the Gutenberg or whatever you call it. And that's whenever literacy rose up. But you got to think, like for a long time, you had the elite that had a good leg up on people that was circulating literature amongst themselves and knew how shit was operating, but the lay people ain't know nothing. So you really got to take that into
Consideration.
I'm talking about like at the highest level. You know what I mean? Like we got to understand that we did came a long way, but we still babies. You know what I'm saying? And it's people that's been doing this, playing this game for a long time, and they see us coming. Even though we aren't here chopping up, we think we progressing and gaining ground. Man, it's people that's been doing this stuff and got big money to make whatever they want to happen happen. Been doing it. So,
Oh yeah, that's the truth. But that's if you believe in a conspiracy of it, right? That's if you believe that people are trying to hold information back from us. I don't believe that's the case. Me personally, it might have been true, you know, back in the early days of the church because they didn't know certain things. They thought that any knowledge outside of the Bible would stray people away from the Bible, right? Or the what word am I looking for? For the hold on. What the fuck? Bless you. Thank you. For the what word am I looking for? Oh man, vocabulary is failing me. It would be for the for the what do they call the Bible? The infallibility of the Bible, or the you know what I mean? So it'd be more like you can't question the Bible. Any information that can get into people's hands that will question the validity, the authenticity, or the 100% correctness of the Bible or the Quran was seen as something that religious community try to keep you away from. But nowadays, I feel as though we're moving in a world of information, right? So everything is on the table. Everybody is trying to gain better knowledge and understanding. So I don't believe that. Yo, I gotta go. I'ma holler at y'all.
Peace.